With Wolo and Stats. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, and Brett Stats Norsworthy.
Welcome in on a very busy Thursday afternoon. So good to have you with us in the house, Brett Norsworthy. As we get closer today, normally Thursdays, you know by now when football season starts, that's when coaches meet with broadcast teams. And this University of Memphis team is going to be very interesting. This Nichols State Colonel team is going to be interesting. They have four guys that are skilled players that are really, really solid. In fact, the quarterback started at LSU, did a little stint at Missouri before he ended up through junior college at Nichols. And he's a big, tough kid. You probably remember, Brett, the name Lindsey Scott. 5'11", 220, muscular, can run, can throw.
Is he son of?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
They've got a wide receiver named –
I remember Lindsey Scott, number 24 for Georgia. I don't remember Lindsey Scott very well at LSU.
No,
and they are simply Nichols. They do not want to be called Nichols State. They are simply Nichols.
Well, Nichols it'll be then.
Well, there was a time you didn't want to be called Memphis State.
I if they want to be called Nichols, I have no problem with that. I'll call them what they want to be called, I promise you. No issue whatsoever, and that is the way it is on their game notes, Nichols.
Please refrain from using Nichols State and NSU. Thank you.
There you
That's
go.
what they say on their game notes.
Well,
I'll call you whatever you want to be called.
Nichols is what it is. We'll call them the Colonels. And you know,
good program.
This hasn't been
good
brought
football
up.
Country.
Well, 24th in the country, FCS. A bunch of guys that could play for Memphis, including their running back, this receiver, Dijene Dixon, who's a senior. And here's the other aspect, and we won't know until we see how all these FCS schools play out as they play in these bye games. But keep in mind, they were just playing last spring. So they played a real competitive football schedule. And
crowned a champion.
Nichols averaged 48.7 points a game. They can put up some numbers.
I want to say I watched their championship game in early May.
That's probably right. The
FCS game.
So they played in May.
I know I did, and I can't remember who won, but, I mean, there were grown men in the stands crying over it.
Right.
I mean,
and then
the thrill of victory's anywhere.
Then they basically took 6 weeks off, and they went right into camp.
No kidding.
So unless they were a team that was racked by injury, which would be a negative, it is a positive because they're ready to go, and they're really more seasoned than a Memphis team that has been off.
I thought Jacksonville State, playing under all those circumstances and outnumbered by scholarships and depth, I thought they really got tired as the second half wore on last night against UAB.
Yeah, and UAB is bigger and stronger.
Yeah, big wins.
And so it'll be interesting.
And big win Saturday night, the Liberty Bowl.
I still have not seen a line.
Still not one. Okay. That much question at quarterback. They're scared to let one fly. I think they will as it gets closer to kick.
And in our meetings today, it is still
they're not scared of much.
It is still two quarterbacks, but I can tell you this: only one's going to play. Whenever they make that decision on who that quarterback's going to be, that's the one they're going to stick with.
No rotation.
Yeah. Okay. Seems that that is. Absolutely the way it is going to be.
San Francisco Giants threatening to do it every series. Or San Francisco 49ers.
49ers, yeah.
Threatening to do it every series. In the last preseason game.
I think it's just a matter, unless Jimmy G plays like out of his mind, the handwriting's on the wall. Trey Lance is going to be their guy.
They got to get him on the field.
Yeah.
Tom Landry did that with Roger Staubach and Craig Morton.
Sure did.
During the regular season. He ran them out there every I don't know if it was every play, but every series for sure.
I'm not sure the old axiom that if you've got two quarterbacks, you don't have any. I don't know if that's true anymore.
I don't know either, Dave, because and that was fashioned in an era that college schedules were largely 10 games and a bowl game, and the NFL was largely 14-game regular season and then very limited playoffs. Now to stretch it out, there's some time in a year. 2 years ago, Alabama had to call on Mac Jones, a sack of bones. Nobody knew who he was, and he had to come through for him. Had to start an Iron Bowl. There's times that you got to give that starter time to maybe clear the cobwebs and be able to get everything realigned.
I think that's right. I know with the way the game is being played, at the pace on offense that you're being asked to, go 90 snaps. 2 running backs is absolutely the way they do it.
You have to. Maybe this addendum to the old quarterback saw. If you have to start more than 2, you don't have 1.
If you have to start 2, maybe.
This guy this week, that guy 2 weeks later, back to the other guy. If you have to have that kind of musical chairs, you really don't have 1. But there's a time in every game. Backup might not have. He might have to run out there and let the quarterback set a spell.
I think Memphis knows who their quarterback is. I think at this point,
why so coy?
I think they didn't know until really this week, and I guess
was it an epiphany or was it the long haul of tape being accumulated?
I think it's just the long haul and just making sure whoever that quarterback is can really handle it, and so. I think they know, but now they're not going to let anybody know because it doesn't do anybody except the media, or as Ryan Silverfield said today, the radio crew. Doesn't really help anybody but them, and so
I'm surprised not going to play more than 1, if for no other reason to give Arkansas State more to game plan for September 11 in Jonesboro.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure the thinking there, so we'll see as it
Arkansas
all
State's
plays
talking
out.
too. They're talking Lane Hatcher and the FSU transfer James Blackman. For their opener against Central Arkansas.
So that tells me, transfers are getting beat out right and left. If you are in a situation at your school that you think in the end, maybe not like this moment, but if you're a player and most players don't have the maturity to try to think for 3 years, 2-3 years. They think right now. They think where they're at this moment. And they don't get the picture. I feel a bit like that for Devontae Dobbs, the offensive lineman from Memphis that is not even on the 2 deep. And he got hurt. So he fell behind. And he didn't know the offense like the other offensive linemen. So even though he is a very talented guy, Memphis, most teams, they don't want to use more than 7 guys. They don't like to rotate offensive linemen. So he's transferred. What's he going to do? If he'd stayed, he'd been a starter at Michigan State. So, and I don't know his total story. I'm just using that sort of as an example. But the transfer portal, which seems to be something that all these guys want to take advantage of, it may not be the greatest thing in the world for you in your career if you end up at a place where you can't do it. Here is one thing I did learn today that I wasn't aware of. Did you notice that once school starts, there were several people that entered the transfer portal? And I didn't know this. The kids know it, and they're smart. They may not be able to see that far in advance total picture.
Wait, that transfer portal's Hotel California, isn't it?
Well,
you can check out, but you never leave.
Do you know that it can mean money for you? So if you've started school and you wait until school and classes start and you go to a class, you can enter the transfer portal, and for that entire semester, not only you get your scholarship, but cost of attendance and everything else that comes with those trappings, you still get your paycheck. So basically, you're getting an education and you're getting pay, and you're not playing because you're in the transfer portal waiting to go to the next place.
And that's good. I want them to get everything they can.
I hate to see
was
the
it the
system
Illinois quarterback?
being built.
Was it the Illinois backup quarterback or the starter that entered the transfer portal after spring, shopped around, landed somewhere, wasn't happy, called Brett Bielema and said, "Can I come back?" He said, "Let me ask the locker room." They said, "Come on." Was it the starter or the backup?
Uh, I would have to think the backup. If you're the starter, wouldn't you stay?
I don't know if he knew he was the starter, but I do think it was the backup.
Yeah.
And he played pretty sound against Nebraska.
Crazy. But that's the system that we have today, and that's the system that each party is going to try to use to its advantage to the best extent that it can. So one of the things I learned today that was a positive is that the U of M is at 92% vaccination rate.
Is that team personnel, or is that everybody in the building, coaches, administration, or is that just the roster?
I think that was the roster.
That's great.
I think they're at 100% in terms of coaches. I know this. If you are vaccinated, you have to still take a test once a week.
Did you have to show any proof for Saturday? I did. I had to upload my vaccination card to the Chick-fil-A Bowl people.
Well, I can say this now. This is the last show I do for a few days because my daughter is getting married.
Sorry.
So I am actually not doing the game. I have shot portions of the television show. I will tape it. I'll be there on Monday to talk. Well, I'll be there on Monday for the TV show because we do that in the morning.
Still doing it on Monday because of Labor Day?
I think so. That's the last that I have seen. They've always used to do a lunch.
Do you know of any requirement for your crew?
I don't believe so.
Or for Nichols coming in?
I don't believe so. I know that our radio crew is 100% vaccinated between myself and
engineer,
Jarvis
spotters,
Greer,
everybody.
Engineer, Danny O'Brien, the spotter, the stat man, the Jarvis Greer, Russell Copeland, Matt Dillon,
I want it that way.
Jeff Brightwell, the entire crew has been vaccinated. So that part I do know.
And I had to upload vaccination card. I didn't mind at all. It didn't violate any civil liberties whatsoever.
No.
To me.
So I've already first thing I did.
If they needed my tax return from last year, heck, I'd send it.
Well, the first thing I did was when I got vaccinated, the second shot, I took a picture of it.
Yeah. That's exactly what I did.
And
I never laminated. I took a picture, and I sent that picture of my card to my adult nephews. So if something happened to me,
right.
and they had to, show up at an emergency room or something like that, they could show, hey, here it is.
My wife laminated her card, and I was thinking about laminating my card, and then somebody said, don't laminate it because if you're required later, and this is before we even thought about boosters or third shots or whatever, they said don't laminate so that we can mark down your third shot, fourth shot, whatever it may take. So I did not laminate mine. I have it in a medical file, but I do have it in my phone in case I need to show anybody proof of vaccination.
During the break, I want to see proof, Dave.
We're going to get it. I'll be happy to. You're in another room anyway.
I'm kidding. Meet me in the hallway.
When Gabe was here
meet me in the hallway with your papers.
Gabe and I actually sat in the same room last week.
Yeah, I'm not going to play on that wild side just yet.
Yeah. Well, that's to each his own.
Yeah.
I know you're vaccinated, so I could accept that.
And I got a lot of room in here.
If you had chosen to do that. Yeah, you do.
It makes it roomy for you in there, too.
Yeah.
So I don't mind at all. I know this. I'm looking forward to tonight. A lot of football this week. Love telling you about FanDuel. Brett Norsworthy for FanDuel Sportsbook. They're hooking you up. They're hooking up new users with enhanced 30-1 odds for the first big college game of the year. We know what that big game is. That's right. Pick either Georgia or Clemson to win, and you could turn a measly little $5 bet into $150 payday. It's that simple. On Saturday, be the first time since 1916 that this game has not been played either in Athens or in Clemson. It will be played in Charlotte Saturday night. Back in 1916, played Dateline, Anderson, South Carolina. Sign up now. Make your first deposit to kick off the college football season on America's #1 sports book. No better place to bet college football than FanDuel Sportsbook. That app will be rolling tonight. Great promotions, #1 rated sportsbook app, easy to use and fast, reliable payouts in as little as 24 hours. You've won the money, fair and square. They get it to you that way. Make the most out of college football this week with enhanced 30 30-1 odds on the Bulldogs and the Tigers, Georgia and Clemson. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up using promo code CASH so they know we sent you. That's promo code CASH. Must be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $10 unless otherwise indicated. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show every day brought to you by the great people at Lexus of Memphis. I know some strong Tennessee fans over there with an eye on the Vols tonight, and big Tiger fans, of course, and ready for Saturday night. They're at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the golden opportunity sales event to kick off Labor Day weekend and September. Great offers on all 2021 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2021 flagship LS500, and you'll be driving in style. 2022's on the way. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. 901-362-8833. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, the Big 12 is considering expansion, and according to ESPN and some other outlets, the Big 12 wants BYU. That's their number one choice. Their number two choice.
BYU?
Salt Lake City market,
It's booming.
geography, pretty decent football program.
Good history. Heisman Trophy winner, won in 84. 84, though.
Yeah.
Heisman Trophy winner
Yeah.
in 90.
Hard to get along with. Can't play on Sunday.
No kidding, Dave. Thank you for saying the opposite of why BYU. You're right. Hard to get along with.
I have never, ever since the Miami Beach Bowl, and what the players said, that those players said to them. And,
there's no doubt about it.
And I've heard that from other schools, that they are not let me put it this way, they are not an inclusive group.
They don't play nice with others. 2011 opening day in Oxford, same thing. A lot of stuff at the bottom of the pile.
Yeah. So, but they're the number one choice. The second choice, UCF, and I think
I get
because where Orlando is, and because Disney is heavily located there, and because it's now the biggest school in America, I think that is number two choice. Cincinnati with that market is 3. And believe it or not, even though Houston has not had a lot of support in the past from all those Texas schools that don't want the big city team in, they are the 4th choice.
Houston with a great football past and a really good football present, and a big town, and a dynamic number one booster in Tillman Fertitta.
It is the number 4 or 5 market in the country now. So I can understand that. Here's what I am, I guess, disappointed in, if this is the way it is going. If Bowlesby is able to pull this off and they're only going to go to 4, I just don't understand how Mike Oresco cannot say to Houston, Cincinnati, and UCF, hang with us. We're a better league. We got better TV markets. We're going to and go to ESPN, go to some other partner, and then you go after BYU or Boise that's still out there, or other Mountain West that may somehow
San
be
Diego
compatible.
State.
And keep your group and figure out a way to pay them, because once this Big 12 money for the next 4 years is over, they're going to be in the same boat. They're all going to be in the same boat.
Big 12.
It's the Big 8 is what it is, and it's not such a Big 8. He's got to be proactive and figure out a way to entice Houston, Cincinnati, and UCF. Stay with us. We'll get bigger, and we'll overcome what they're going to be, and we'll become the 5th best league in America. And somehow he has got to work that out, or Memphis will again find itself in a decent league. It'll still be the 6th best league is what it'll end up being. You're only going to lose 3 of those schools. But I would, I'm sold on Oresco. I'm more sold on him than Bowlesby. I just don't know if those presidents are, because you would think those three schools are in a position where if they tried to leverage themselves with others, they could get a better TV deal for the league they're in.
My top story, the Tennessee Vols play football tonight on our TV. Easily, right now, the ebb in all-time Tennessee storied football history. The firing of Phil Fulmer as head coach after the 2008 season started it, and the firing of Phil Fulmer as AD at the end of last year led to Danny White being hired and subsequently Danny White hiring Josh Heupel. Never has Tennessee been this down, and Nebraska proves once you're down, even for the big boys like Tennessee and Nebraska, it's hard to get up.
Not top story of the day.
Well, as we get ever closer to kickoff at the Liberty Bowl Saturday, 6 o'clock, we find out no tailgating except in Tiger Lane. And if you've seen what's going with Liberty Park there, they've had to move a lot of parking. So where they're moving the parking, they want to maximize the spaces. So they're basically saying Toby Park, where the old Coke plant used to be on Hollywood and Southern there, where there's a lot of spots, if you're going to park there, you can't tailgate there. Because we are limiting the spots, and they want $15 per spot, and they want every spot that they can get. So if you tailgate, park, walk to Tiger Lane, get there early, and figure out a spot that you can use with which to party. This, by the way, will not only be for Memphis football games. This will be for the Southern Heritage Classic the second weekend in September. It will also be the same scenario for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl on December the 28th. So if you are going to try and have fun and tailgate, you can't do it unless you are in Tiger Lane.
My not top story, 15 college football games involving FBS teams tonight. One moved to Saturday. That was Rutgers and Temple because of the devastating weather in the Northeast. Clearly the best game involves Danny White and Josh Heupel's old school. You know where Danny White claims the national championship from. It's Boise State against UCF tonight, 6 o'clock on ESPN. Gus Bus versus Andy Avalos. Andy Avalos had a 92-yard interception return for a touchdown in a wild 2004 AutoZone Liberty Bowl when the Boise State played Louisville. No way for both of these teams to lose tonight, is it? One of these teams they have to win.
No, somebody, I promise you, Brett.
It's a shame because it's two of the most arrogant fan bases ever. Boise State, I've never encountered fans like that ever. And Drew and many people tell me the same for UCF. I think I'm down pulling for Gus tonight.
Here's the thing with UCF.
That's a shame.
I don't know that UCF would be termed arrogant.
What Drew said, sitting around them, being around them.
I would say they're mean. That's what I would say.
I didn't get mean from Boise. Boise fans had their talking points. They knew when you encounter Ole Miss fan, you say this. When their reply is this, you reply with that. And on Friday, Ole Miss beat them 35-10. Didn't play great. And the next day, I merely said, and I meant it. I said, "Good game. Y'all have a great year." Arrogant as you could. We've played better than you. I said, "Yeah, guess what? We've played better than you too."
Well. The problem with UCF fans is, seriously, they are loyal to a fault, and they give the opposition side a tough go, and sometimes they do cross the line. That is where I would go with them. If their arrogance is to have claimed the national championship, give them a bone, for goodness sake. They did beat the team that beat.
That's great. It wouldn't by any publication ever.
Yeah. I do know they beat an Auburn team in a bowl that beat the team that won the national championship.
That's great transitive math, but
and
nobody voted them a national champion.
Lost a game.
That's wonderful transitive math, but it's not a legitimate national championship.
Well, it may not be, but
you can print all the T-shirts
we used to vote for them. Was that legit then?
Well, I think AP and UPI were pretty legitimate news-gathering bodies,
okay,
yes.
All right. I would say it's okay because teams used to claim co-championships all the time. Nobody accepted that. Nobody has to accept this either.
Nobody did.
But UCF fans did. That is for certain.
That's the arrogance.
Really? Come on. Unless it's a Power 5, there's no way for anybody else to beat it. So somebody's got to claim.
You know that on opening day.
Look, if they let them play and lost, then you could say that. They didn't let them play.
Again, great transitive math.
No. They didn't lose the game. That's all I'm going to tell you. Team that won the championship did.
Arkansas State didn't lose a game in 75, and they didn't claim a national championship.
They should have. They absolutely should have.
No, they
and
shouldn't.
that's
They had
when
more
everybody
pride
was
than that.
voting it. Oh, pride. Come on. It's all politics anyway. We are underway officially, and we are busy today as always. Oh, I love this. Our first visit with Bill Bender. We will talk with him momentarily. Then we'll make our picks on the aforementioned arrogant UCF and Cincinnati. We know one thing for sure. Cincinnati has a right this year to be arrogant. Keith Smith on the NBA at 4. We'll make picks on Alabama, on Arkansas, and then on the Ole Miss Rebels. We'll talk with our friend Drew Barrett. Usually we talk Tigers with Greg Gaston. He cannot make it today. Drew Barrett, the self-proclaimed, is that arrogant to be self-proclaimed golf champion? I don't know.
No, it's not.
Okay. I'll let you youngsters all band together. Drew Barrett will come your way at 5 o'clock. We'll talk some Tigers with him and see how he is doing in Northwest Arkansas. Then we will give you at 5:30 the Tigers wins and the Tigers losses. How many W's are there? You know, they are one of just a handful of schools that have won at least 8 games the last 7 years in a row. Wow. That is impressive. And that's why you see that indoor and you see bigger stars coming. It's really fun to have watched that program evolve. 8 wins, 7 straight years. Can they get to an 8th? We'll let you know. That'll come your way at 5:30. Back in just a minute. This is Sports Time on Sports 56.
You have opinions?
Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad.
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claim specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
At Southern Airways, we fly to make your day.
Memphis's hometown airline, Southern Airways, wants you to beat the Mid-South heat and head to the Emerald Coast. Southern is the easy and convenient way for Memphians to get to Destin. Want to spend some time on the lake instead? Fly over the interstate traffic and bypass any delays and take one of Southern's flights to Hot Springs, Arkansas. Short flights in popular regional destinations like Arkansas's festival city of El Dorado and Harrison, Arkansas, the gateway to Branson, each have daily nonstop flight options from Southern Airways out of Memphis. Flying Southern is easy with no TSA screening hassles and free parking at Signature Flight Support. So if you're planning a quick weekend getaway, be sure to fly Southern Airways. Visit iflysouthern.com to reserve your seats today.
At Southern Airways.
thought we were done with this.
Say ya, Petey.
Don't call me Petey.
We're back, baby, doing Central Barbecue commercials.
This is very exciting.
Reminding everyone that there are 4 locations, all with that perfect Central Barbecue, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue.
You know, you don't really need me for these.
No, I want you for these. We're a team, you and me, telling the world about the best ribs in Memphis. Maybe the best ribs in the world, Central Barbecue ribs.
See, you didn't need me to do that, and don't call
Petey,
me...
Central Barbecue spots wouldn't be the same without you.
I think they would.
You know you love it, and there's no better barbecue than Central Barbecue.
One of the things I love about betting on FanDuel Sportsbook is you get more than one shot. Right now, new and existing users can get up to $25 back in site credit each day. Just place a minimum 5-leg baseball parlay, and if it falls 1 leg short, you get up to $25 back with parlay insurance. There's a reason FanDuel Sportsbook's America's #1 sportsbook. In addition to the parlay insurance, if you haven't tried FanDuel Sportsbook yet, new users can place your first bet risk-free. New users get up to $1,000 back in site credit if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code CASH to get in on the action. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only for risk-free bet. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $25 per game. Restrictions apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. Let me correct myself because this just happened literally minutes after I said Toby would not have tailgating. The city has reversed itself. They will allow tailgating at Toby Park, which tells you that they must be expecting a pretty good crowd Saturday for the Nichols game, and it wouldn't have been able to just hold it at Tiger Lane, all the tailgating. So that is the change. That is the news. That just was printed, by the way, at 3:23 in the Daily Memphian. So the city has definitely reversed itself. In the meantime, let's head on out to Ohio, and Bill Bender, the great college football writer for The Sporting News, joins us now. You ready for another year? And do we have the same 4? Is that going to make the playoff selection show again?
The 4 that we picked haven't made it all in the same season somehow. When you have Ohio State, Clemson, Alabama, Oklahoma, that's an easy 4 to pick.
Yeah.
It's the state of the sport right now, too top heavy. I'm excited about football like everybody else, but, I always caution and not to be a downer. But, yeah, the movie's probably going to end the same way it normally does.
Bill, I went my final 4, Georgia 1 seed, Ohio State 2, Oklahoma 3, and USC 4. And J.T. Daniels winning the Heisman Trophy and becoming only the second player ever to wear uniform number 18 to win it. Jason White in 03 for OU wore 18.
Yeah, Georgia's got that opportunity to really get the season off to a big start this weekend against Clemson, game of the week. And, I said all along that if you were just picking the SEC on paper, Georgia would be the team to pick. Now, if you factor in the psychological part, the Alabama development factor, or the shadow Crimson Tide cast on the entire conference, probably pick Alabama. So, and it's a big year for USC and quarterback Keaton Slovis and the talent that they have around him. But they've got a tough one right out of the gate this weekend against San Jose State.
With Nick Starkel, almost a house of horrors for Razorback fans last weekend, seeing Brett Bielema win, seeing Nick Starkel play well for San Jose State.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, it's a good year or a good week for both of those teams. Good week for Brett Bielema to get Illinois off to a good start and win at 3.5 yards per carry at a time and really put that Nebraska Scott Frost era in a state of flux. They stuck to the game plan. They made big plays. The defense played well at 5 sacks, and Bielema ball always works a little bit better in the Big Ten West, and that'll probably be the case over the next decade or so.
You think he makes it for a decade in Champaign?
I think he'll spend the rest of his coaching career in the Big Ten, where he should be. he was successful for 7 years at Wisconsin.
Sure was. It was
Yeah.
a bold
Successful
hire
as
by
a-
Jeff Long.
He's actually from Oklahoma, though. He's not that far away from Arkansas.
No,
eh?
no, Brett Bielema was reared in Illinois.
Ha!
Well, either way, I mean, yeah, like he was a player and a coach at Iowa. He's a successful coach at Wisconsin. That definitely has done a good job in both those places. I don't know that he'll be at Illinois for 10 years. You never know, but I think he will start to build that program the way he wants and with a good line up front. And it will have some success, and that's a division that you can build and have success in because it's one of the few divisions in the Power Five where there's actual parity from top to bottom.
Bill, everybody kind of went crazy with that Nebraska loss, and I saw some wanting to compare them to Michigan. No comparison. Jim Harbaugh's been mega successful compared to the last two Nebraska coaches.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it's a dumb comparison other than you're dealing with two former quarterbacks trying to have success at their alma mater.
That's it.
Nebraska's 12-21 has never really gotten started. From day one, haven't got started. They lost that first game against Colorado in a thriller, and they just haven't been able to find consistent success and get on like a convincing winning streak. I mean, Michigan, every narrative around Harbaugh and Michigan, and I don't know how many years I've been on with you guys, but I feel like we have this discussion every year, so we might as well have it to start the season.
Let's do.
Everything with Harbaugh is based off Ohio State.
That's it.
And he's had success, but it's Ohio State top 10 team. And they're going to have plenty of those on the schedule this year, and it's just a matter of how long Michigan's going to put up with it because I don't think they're going to beat those top 10 teams this year.
I don't either. You mentioned earlier the big game this weekend. That's Georgia. That's Clemson. How do you see that game? And do you see the loser still in the college football playoff picture, seeing that it is game one?
Yeah, I mean, both. It's a big money game. You know, Clemson, if they lose, they could go 12-1, but they're behind the eight ball against one, possibly two SEC teams. If Georgia loses, it's just hard to get through the SEC without one loss. And they haven't done that for Kirby Smart. They always kind of trip up once along the way. So, and no two-loss team's been in the playoffs. So, I mean, the loser's not out, but I think this game means so much to the winner that you get that huge non-conference win. Probably going to end up being the biggest non-conference win of the season. And you get to have that in November when the playoff rankings come out, and December, if it's a final bargaining chip, this is a good one to have.
Bill, if you had to pick a running back to win the Heisman Trophy, who would it be?
Bijan Robinson at Texas. I think he's going to have a monster year with Sark, much like Najee Harris did. It would have to take like a Ricky Williams type year, you know, a giant year, and Texas would have to have some success. But I mean, he's the one that I'm most excited about. I think he's averaged about 8 yards per carry in limited action last year. He just put up big numbers constantly, had a big year, and I think he'll continue to do that.
Big story around here because Memphis was not included thus far. The possible Big 12 expansion with BYU, Cincinnati, UCF, and Houston. What do you think is going to end up happening when the dust settles?
And they'll probably expand with some combination of those schools. I'd say Memphis is still in the mix. A Boise State might still be in the mix. You know, a couple other schools like that. So, yeah, if that's what they want to do to strengthen their league, all of those programs are. I think, right, as it stands, BYU would have the largest stadium in the conference. So they're a logical add, and then I think it's about who you add on top of that. You know, Memphis plays in the Liberty Bowl, has the resources that they have in a big city. They would make sense. Houston makes sense. Another stadium small. Cincinnati makes sense from a competitive standpoint. Stadium small. So they've got to look at size and success, and all of those schools are probably right in the range of what they're looking for.
Bill, please tell me, after all this shakes out, that we're still going to have Bedlam and give it to us opening weekend.
I hope so, but, I mean, you never know. I don't know what – you know, if let's say that they speed up the timetable and the SEC, Oklahoma and Texas are allowed to come to the SEC in 2022 or 2023, that farewell tour is going to be something else. So I just don't know if they can do that for 4 years and let those bad feelings build up between Oklahoma, Texas, and the rest of the Big 12.
Do you think they can get it done by next year? And will they are they willing to pay the price? Because there will be a financial penalty.
I mean, we're going to find out, right? We're going to find out because, there's a lot that goes into that. I mean, COVID's not done yet. I mean, they're seeing stories right now about how the Delta variant could impact the next couple of weeks. I know we're coaching a 5th and 6th grade team here in Ohio, and we don't have a center this week because he was in close contact.
Wow.
So I think that's going to be part of this season as well that people don't want to talk about until it happens. But I fully anticipate that we're going to have games forfeited, games canceled, a little bit of a mess because, I mean, if you just look strictly at the numbers, it's not pretty.
You're so right, Bill. I texted a friend last night. We're rocking along almost like it's completely over when with cases and hospitalizations, not deaths, and that's big, but hospitalizations, it's higher now than it was in January and February. And I heard a story of a friend here locally in Memphis. He had a family member, a loved one, treated well, but lay on a cot on a gurney in a hallway for 3 days before it got to a private room.
Yeah, I mean, this is where we're at, and it's not.
It's not a time to have a heart attack.
It's going to be a part of the season, unfortunately.
Yeah,
and I hope it doesn't cost the team, a national title or those kind of things, but I just think we'd be naive to believe that this isn't going to be a big part of the college football season.
I mean, right now, I say heart attack. It's not a good time to have a appendicitis flare up, and you need to go to the emergency room. You could sit outside and wait a while. Tomorrow night, an interesting game. We love Justin Fuente here. We still love Justin Fuente.
Oh, yeah, we definitely love Justin Fuente.
I kind of like him in the upset tomorrow night, straight up against Mac Brown.
That's going to be an entertaining game. The last 2 years, they, I think they've got a team that, it's going to they're going to get back. Both teams are going to score a bunch of points. You look at last year, I think they combined for 101 points. Still like North Carolina in that game. I know it's a big spot for Virginia Tech. They should be fired up, home crowd, that kind of thing. So, I think it's going to be a fun game to watch, but I still like the Tar Heels to get off to a good start in Mac Brown's third season.
I think most of the experts do as well. We wish Justin absolutely the best, so that is
Enjoy,
for sure.
Bill.
Bill, thank you. We appreciate it. We know you got to run. We'll be talking to you every week. We can't wait.
Hey, no problem, guys. Thanks so much for having me on. Take care.
Bill Bender from the Sporting News. I will tell you, man, I can't wait because we got – you mentioned Boise UCF. I want to see the Ohio State-Minnesota game, and
I do too.
Bill's going to be watching that game
I want to see P.J. Fleck.
How about East Carolina and Appalachian State? I want to see if East Carolina's going to get better.
Dave, that's a real good one. I'm looking forward to watching USF against NC State.
I am. Bowling Green, Tennessee, we already mentioned
I'm going to have
tonight.
it all on.
It's all there are so many good games.
I won't see.
Come on.
I won't see bedtime before 12:30.
Well, the Southern Utah-Arizona game will be coming to an end.
Arizona State.
Right
That's
or
Herm
Arizona
Edwards,
State.
isn't it? Yeah,
that is Arizona State's Herm Edwards. Yeah, Oh man, it's going to be great tonight. There is no. Isn't it great we got this again?
It is, but we are sailing along like everything's.
No, it's not.
And it's not.
Still 700 hospital beds used, 570 new cases. I think I read 3,000 Shelby County students have been affected
don't
by
have
COVID
tonsillitis right now.
Since the 3 weeks that they've been back, or 4 weeks, whatever it is, yeah.
Never a good time to have a heart attack.
I hate to say this. How about a car wreck? If you're in a car wreck?
It's never a good time to have one, but this is the worst time.
Yeah. No, it is definitely scary stuff.
Yeah, it is.
But by the way, way off the subject.
All right.
But last night
we go off the grid.
I saw
we go off the grid.
Channel 5 was watching my friends Joe Birch and company, and Janice Broach retired.
Oh, I didn't know
after
that.
36 years in the biz.
Is that right?
She has decided to retire.
She's reported on everything.
She's tough, and she goes to the gruesome stories or the racy stories. I mean, she does it all. And I was working with her at WREC back in 1983, and I knew she was terrific.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that staff had Bill Dries and Janice Broach?
And down the hall, well, Bad Dog hadn't gotten there yet, has he?
I don't think Bad Dog didn't get there for another year or so.
Woo!
A lot of talent.
That's
a lot
good
of talent in that shop.
You and George were there?
George and I, yeah. Starting in 83. Actually, George and I started together on Lamar when that station was on Lamar.
Well, I didn't remember that one. I didn't remember that spot.
Oh, you didn't?
Mm-mm.
Oh, yeah. When you would get to where the University Club is on Lamar and Central, if you would go left, going toward Alabama, going toward Homer Skelton Hyundai, you would go about a block maybe, and on your right there was an old building there, and that is where the original Rock 103 WRC
and
building
great
was.
Producer, engineer,
Leonard
the great
Blakely.
Leonard Blakely.
Oh, yeah. Alan Tynes, Leonard Blakely. They were all there. Cook and Powell. Good times. Good times for sure.
Did Cook and Powell really not speak off there to each other?
They did not care for each other. They really
Love
did
Fred
not.
Cook, though.
And you know what? I love them both. They were both
I didn't know. I didn't know
really
John.
good guys in their own way. They had a great chemistry on the air, but they just didn't like each
Do you
other.
think people believe we don't speak off there?
They know better.
They see us out
They know
together.
better. We get madder more on the air than we do off the air.
I don't get mad.
No, you don't. You stick by your guns and
you stick by yours.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way we want it, isn't it?
Exactly. So, hey, just before we send it to this break, because we got to go and we got to make some picks.
Yeah, we do.
Janice Broach, I hope you enjoy
Congratulations.
retirement. Congratulations. Back in just a minute.
Get happy with Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 3 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. When I talk to people about selling their homes or buying one, my motto is stick to your game plan. I learned this from my friend Coach Terry Tippett. Coach, you didn't go into a game without having a plan, did you?
No, Sheldon. Having a plan was critical to the success of all my teams.
That's right, Coach. Sticking to your game plan helped you win 4 state championships.
That's wrong, Sheldon. It was 6, just like the number of shots you make on a par 3.
Well, Coach, we've played golf together. What advice can you give me about my game?
You probably need to stick to real estate, as you're much better at doing that. Or perhaps bowling.
Great advice about real estate, not bowling. And as I always tell people, if they're thinking of selling their home, talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers and let me be one of them. As they often say, when you want the job done, Coach, who should they call?
Sheldon, of course.
You can reach me at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. That's 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com.
Tired of waiting on your sportsbook? Waiting for deposits and withdrawals? No more waiting with Action 24/7. We're cutting out the middleman. Deposit or withdrawal in cash. Action 24/7 has more than 100 partners in Tennessee for cash deposits and withdrawals. Visit action247.com for a location. Cash deposits and withdrawals from your Tennessee sportsbook. Action247.com. You got action.
Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call 800-889-9789.
Need to sell your home? You're in luck because I buy houses. All you have to do is call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that PIN, 901-406-1101, or just save it in your phone. Bill at I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses buys houses in any area, in any condition, at any time, as simple as that. I Buy Houses is guaranteed to close in 5 days. So if you need your cash fast, just call Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. Has your house been on the market? Were you just tired of renters? Or is it just time to start over? Well, avoid repairing, cleaning, painting, and prepping your house. Just pick up the phone and call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses. If you're in Southwind, South Memphis, North Mississippi, North Memphis, Collierville, if you can hear this, just call my friend Bill at iBuyHouses, 901-406-1101.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
We like to party.
Welcome back in. We are about to make some picks, but there is, Brett, a terrible story that is just breaking. I don't know if you've seen this. Came out about a half hour ago. Former NFL linebacker Keith McCants.
I did see it.
Was found dead this morning in Florida after police responded to a call in St. Pete. The former Bucs first-round pick, I think he was the fourth pick
From
overall
Alabama.
from Alabama. Only 53 years old.
He had moments in college where it was Derek Thomas-esque. It wasn't a great, but it was a really solid NFL career. But at 53, that's way too young.
And the way it apparently has gone down, according to the
I haven't seen details. Bad.
Authorities believe his death was caused by a drug overdose.
I hate that.
Yeah, man.
Under any circumstances.
Me too.
Keith McCants was a great player at Bama and a really good Buccaneer and beloved there. And we'll visit next week, sadly, next Wednesday with TJ about it.
53 years old.
I say young. Awful. I say 53 is young. At 59, I know it is.
At 68, I definitely tell you 53. Give me back those years. With this new golf technology, I'd get another 20 yards back.
And the new medical technology, man, our knees and our hips are going to be great, aren't they?
No doubt about it. All right. I
can make it easy on Cincinnati.
Make picks. Don't tell me 12-0.
No, 11-1. Lose at Notre Dame. They win at Indiana. They lose at South Bend.
Gosh. Were you peeking when I made my picks?
I was not.
That is exactly
We've had a lot of groupthink, which I don't like because it's sure to go wrong.
No. Well, that was when Drew, who will be here at 5 o'clock, was part of the show.
He would go off the grid, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that golf pick this summer.
Well, he's going to come on claiming victory when they were in last place when he left.
Insufferable, next to last, insufferable in victory.
So,
Brian,
I'm the same way. The only loss is at South Bend. What have you got, young Bryant?
I've got them at 10-2. I have them losing to both Indiana and Notre Dame. I'm really high on Indiana.
Indiana's good, but Cincinnati is
really
good.
But also, Indiana has several Memphis kids on their team.
They
so
sure do.
Got to shout out to Indiana.
And Mississippians, Tom Allen loves recruiting the South, knows it, was great at Ole Miss in doing it. That day, Michael Penix for Indiana against Desmond Ridder for Cincinnati, that's your quarterback matchup maybe of the year.
All right, UCF.
My favorites.
You love them.
National champs win, 1871?
No. Just a few years ago when they knocked off Auburn and Gus in the Fiesta.
And now Gus is driving the bus there. I have him with 2 losses.
And the guy that was driving the bus for them, Scott Frost, is floundering.
Yeah, and now Terry Mahajer AD at UCF with Gus and Danny White and Heupel at Tennessee, and Scott Frost floundering at his alma mater. Well, it's a strange world, isn't it? Yeah. Only 2 losses I have them beating Boise State tonight. I have them defeating Bethune-Cookman, losing to Louisville, wins over Navy and ECU. Then they lose at Cincinnati, and then defeat Memphis, Temple, Tulane, SMU, UConn, and South Florida.
I have them 9-3. I have them losing to Boise tonight.
Interesting. So we can draw blood tonight.
Yep. I have them beating Bethune-Cookman. I think they'll beat Louisville at Louisville. I think they'll beat Navy and ECU. I think they lose at Cincinnati. I got them beating Memphis at home, winning at Temple. I have Tulane coming in and upsetting them. Tulane is due one of these crazy
year for them.
Yep. They got a win at SMU, a win over UConn, a win at USF.
Never easy at Tulane, made even more difficult now with their displacement.
9-3, 6-3. It may be, but man, that line's 31. I know you're giving you're giving all our picks tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll do it at 5:30 tomorrow.
I don't think Tulane will win that game, but I think that line is a little heavy.
We picked the Tigers at 5:30.
Yeah. And then we'll also pick Alabama, Arkansas, and Ole Miss. That'll come your way in about a half hour.
Yeah. They will. I love going down to All-Star Chevrolet. I like just going down and seeing the friendly people, Scott and Drew and the whole staff, talking Tigers, talking SEC, talking high school football. It's so fun to see all the new Silverado trucks at All-Star. So many certified pre-owned Chevys on the lot. If it's a Chevy you want this fall, Olive Branch is the place to be. Start college football, start football season the right way at All-Star Chevrolet. If you have a car or truck to sell, All-Star will buy it, even if you owe on it. Or bring the title, and they'll get you a check written to you today. Remember, it's not South Haven, not Collierville, not Mount Moriah, it's not the Pike. It's got to be Olive Branch off Kraft Goodman Road at All-Star Chevrolet. So easy to find new roads to All-Star Chevrolet, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
This portion of the show also brought to you by Ken Garland. Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. Maybe it's time, with the way prices have gone up on just moving. Maybe it's time for you to build that dream home. Or maybe you want to renovate because you're not going to move. You like your location, but you want modern amenities. Hey, there's where Ken Garland Custom Home Builders comes in handy. He's been doing this, he and his dad, 2 generations, 50 years of just beautiful palaces they've either built or they have renovated throughout our market. KenGarland.com, that's the place to go see what I'm talking about. If you've got land, you're not sure what to do with it, Ken knows. If you're looking for land to build that dream home, Ken knows how to find it, or he's actually got it. He's involved in plenty of developments, and then, of course, he will come to you, and if you've got the spot, he'll build perfectly for that spot. On time, on budget, he always does that. He works closely with all of his customers, and I'll tell you this, too. He is very detail-oriented while he sees the big picture all at once. A rare guy and fun to talk to. Here's the number, 901-751-1632. Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. It's always time to talk NBA. What's going to happen with the Sixers and their flawed star, Ben Simmons? I'll bet Keith Smith knows. We go to Orlando in just a minute.
AC trouble? Call Air Doctors of Memphis, 901-598-HVAC. Owner Matt Davis is a third-generation full-service air conditioning specialist. Air Doctors of Memphis services all major brands, and labor and parts are guaranteed 100%. Their yearly AC checkup is only $60. Then this year, Air Doctors is the official HVAC contractor for St. Jude Dream House. Air Doctors installed the St. Jude Dream House new Train high-efficiency equipment. Get your service from the best. AirDoctorsOfMemphis.com. Call 901-598-HVAC.
The Labor Day event's here at Gap Factory and GapFactory.com. Shop 40 to 70% off almost everything. Plus, tanks from $5, shorts from $10, and jeans from $20 through September 7th at Gap Factory and GapFactory.com.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage, factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you're treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
Hi, I'm Tito Beveridge, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, I started the first micro distillery in the state of Texas with my dog, Dog Joe, at my side. We're still working with dogs out at the distillery after all these years. Learn more about how dogs are a part of life here at Tito's Handmade Vodka at vodkafordogpeople.com. Tito's Handmade Vodka is made from corn and naturally gluten-free. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in on a joyous Thursday afternoon. Lots of college football on the docket tonight. The Vols will play. You've got American Athletic Conference teams playing. East Carolina, we get our first look at that. There's so many good things to talk about, and there are big stories today. The big story is the speculation about Big 12 expansion, and unfortunately in that expansion story it includes BYU, Cincinnati, it includes Houston and UCF, and Memphis not in there yet. You heard our good friend from the Sporting News, though, Bill Bender, say Memphis isn't out of this and quite yet, and we don't know exactly the way all this will play out. But we go down in this time slot every week to talk to our friend from Yahoo Sports who writes NBA, that is Keith Smith. I'm just curious, before we start talking NBA and hoops, what your sense around Orlando is today of that news. Is that embraced by UCF fans?
Is there a clamor about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they seem excited about any opportunity to move up to a bigger division. They, as far as I know, talking to people there, and then people who are just either alumni of the school or fans of the school in the area, they want to play in a Power 5 league where they have a chance to get better. They're still hanging on to that. They won a national championship a couple of years ago and were just cheated out of the opportunity to fully play for it. So they'd love to have the chance to get in there and play, because they feel like they've put themselves on that level with the other teams, especially in the state of Florida.
All right. I'm hoping the AAC tries to entice them to stay and bring some of those other teams in. There's still a lot of movement before that is all said and done. Big story yesterday was the Ben Simmons discussion. He doesn't want to stay in Philadelphia. He doesn't see himself, obviously, as flawed. I know the Sixers have been trying to move him, but when you're in a position where you got to move somebody, which is what Ben has put them in now, it's hard to get a whole lot or as much as you would hope for. Now you got Joel Embiid denying that there is a rift. He loved playing with Simmons.
There's a rift.
How is this all going to play out?
I continue to believe that they will move him at some point. I think that they will be, basically in a position where they've got to move him. I don't know how. Little less than a month from now, they open training camp and bring him in and basically, hey, Ben, good to see you. Let's all get going here. I just think it's gone too far. Now there's a reporting which no one has come out and refuted that he's not going to show up for training camp and those kind of things. But it's tough because, as you said, are they going to get backed into a corner and have to just take the best deal that they can get? Or are they going to just hang on to him and say, you know what, James Harden went through this last year and that team still ended up getting a pretty good good trade. So we're going to hang on to this and see what we can do as well.
Keith, training camp, some camps will open latter part of this month, won't it?
Yeah, all of them will be open. Everybody will be open by the 28th. Everything's pointing toward media day will be the 27th and
Hope
the 28th.
You enjoyed that 2 weeks off, Keith.
That's kind of how it feels a little bit. There was a couple weeks to breathe, but we're going to get right back at it.
We had an announcement here this week that they're going to retire Zebo and Tony Allen's jerseys. Those guys were responsible for
the finest hour in this franchise history.
Well, certainly. But I think on top of that, which is part of the reason I was listening to you, by the way, on the way down to the 901 FC soccer game last night, I think they're more there because they were responsible for really making the Grizzlies a part of Memphis' sports DNA. They elevated it to that new height by getting to the Western Conference Final, and they became major stars within the community, and they stuck around for a while, even after they were no longer. And they still come back.
And Keith, I thought Zebo was the straw that stirred the drink.
Yeah, and this is well earned for those two guys. I know some people like to go to, well, are they even going to be Hall of Famers? Should you be retiring? Numbers for guys that aren't Hall of Famers. Excuse me. And I always think of it as, unless you go a little too far, which maybe the team I grew up with, the Celtics, have gone a little crazy with retiring numbers.
They're out of numbers.
Yeah, it's getting to be that way. It's you can't really go too far with these things. And I think what you look at if you're Memphis is these guys are going to get their due. Then it's only a matter of, from whenever they both hang up their sneakers and call it quits, Mark Gasol and Mike Conley will follow right behind them, and that'll be the way it'll go. And I think it's really the way it should be. When you have guys who have meant that much to your franchise and are that special in the community and in that part of town and those kind of things, that's an honor that is very well earned.
Yeah, I think after this group of four, the big four, after Zebo and after Tony this year, and at some point Mike and Mark, and I said this yesterday, I think after that, and I want to amend a little bit what I said. I said after that, the next people that numbers are retired in Memphis Grizzlies history, it should be associated with a championship. But Hall of Fame status also, I would use that out as well. If you go to the Hall of Fame and you largely played in Memphis, I mean, Vince Carter's going to the Hall of Fame, but he's not going in as a Grizzly.
No.
But like Ja, like Jaren, like any young player coming out, coming through now, if they go on to the Hall of Fame without a championship, then yes. But Keith, I made the point. I was scrolling through retired numbers one time, and I loved him in college and remember him well. But the Milwaukee Bucks have Junior Bridgman retired. He's not in the Hall of Fame. He didn't win a title, but he was important to them. And in Dallas, and Dave worked in Dallas around this stretch. Brad Davis was key to making people notice the Mavericks back in the day.
Well, he was there a long time, too. How long was his career in Dallas?
Forever. That floppy hair and just sweating all the time.
Here's what I think, too. Ja Morant, let's just say they don't win a title with Ja Morant, but Ja Morant ends up being the leading scorer of all time, total points.
Leading assist guy.
And leading assist guy.
Leading steals guy.
In history.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta retire that number. If he's with you, his career, let's say it lasts 12 or 13 years,
Keith,
and he gets to that.
You settle the vote.
Oh, yeah, I would, absolutely. If he's your all-time leading scorer and in there, and assuming that teams were at least competitive, which they've been thus far in his career, then yeah, absolutely. I think you can retire his number. It doesn't have to be all about championships. It doesn't have to be, all about going to the Hall of Fame. It's just, are they one of the best players in your franchise's history? Were they universally beloved by their teammates? Then 100% retire the number and let's go.
I think that is the case with the Jazz, with Darryl Griffith and Mark Eaton. They didn't win championships. They're not in the Hall of Fame, but they needed those guys as the bridge to Mailman and Stockton.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what it's about. It's about what was your impact on that franchise. The Hall of Fame is what is your impact on the sport.
Great point.
And that's the, in some ways, I know, people say that's the ultimate honor, and it probably is. But I think for guys who were really, really good and really, really important to a franchise, I have no problem with retiring numbers. I tend to go a little more towards the Ring of Honor type of thing, because I think the retiring numbers just get, like I said, with the Celtics, it starts to get a little crazy, because that's how you start ending up with a whole bunch of guys with numbers in the 60s and 70s sometimes, but that's the way it is, and they've set a tradition, and that's how they're going to go forward. And, the other team I grew up around, the Boston Red Sox, they drew a hard and fast line for a number of years. They had to make the Hall of Fame, and they weren't going to retire a number, and for a long time, that's why they didn't retire Carlton Fisk's number, because he wasn't a Hall of Famer. And then once finally did make it, and then they moved on retiring his number. And that's just, each club's going to have their own policy on that.
Well, there's no doubt that Stockton and Malone were the two greatest players in the history of that franchise. That there was a vote. I can't remember if the commercial appeal did it or who it was, but wasn't Zebo considered the most popular key player in the history of the franchise? You can make a case. You can certainly make a case for Pau Gasol
and for Tony, grandfather.
Tony is there because of the era, really. I mean, if you take a look at Tony, he was a great defensive player, great
key
disruptive.
Trade, or key acquisition, free agency from Boston
to that era. But certainly, if you go by just numbers or even ability, I mean, he's not going to be. He's getting in.
But he set the tone.
I hate to say
his
this.
Agent
He
provocateur.
is getting in on the coattails of Zebo, Mike Conley, and Marc Gasol. In my mind, I'm not saying he shouldn't get that, because that era is a big part, and we mentioned already, it was the entree into Memphis' sports DNA. They became a Memphis tradition based on this team and what they did those couple of years. But if you look at just Tony Allen, I still remember him missing all those easy layups. There's he's deserving, because he was part of that era and a big part of what that core four was. But just based on numbers, there's no way this guy gets his number retired. I don't think, anyway. If you look at that, Keith, and just sheer numbers, would you think a number would get retired?
For Tony Allen, no. The numbers aren't there. And as much as he was one of the best defensive players during his time, the team never got to the finals, never clearly won a finals. So the numbers aren't there. But again, a big part of the Grizzlies becoming what they became, and grit and grind was something everybody knew. Everywhere in the entire league. That was a known thing, and he was a big part of that. So I don't have a problem if that's the direction they want to go. Is, hey, we want to honor a guy who was a big part of our franchise, especially a big part of them becoming entrenched in Memphis. Because I feel like prior to that, it was still, all right, they're here, but are they? It was. I know, at least from afar, it was always like, all right, is that a pit stop to somewhere else, and what's that going to look like? And then I feel like Tony Allen was a big part of that. Hey, no, this team is Memphis, and I know the fan base, adopted and loved that group so much. So hey, I don't have any issue with putting his number in the rafters.
Keith, one of the zaniest retirements. I mean, I think I know why they did it, but it's goofy. But you can do what you want to do. The Miami Heat having Dan Marino's number retired.
They also have Michael Jordan's number retired, which is also a little bit weird, considering he never played for the team.
On a crazy number front, barring something that would be catastrophically sad, you can get ready for 77 retired someday in Dallas for Luka.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, the only thing that I always wonder with guys now is, does that end poorly and he leaves earlier than anyone ever expects? And if he does, then you could see them saying, "No, we're not doing
Dirk
it."
never
and
left. I can see your point.
Yeah. Well, and think about it, right? We would have looked at it at one point and said Anthony Davis's number will be retired in New Orleans, and now there's not a chance that ever happened. And I think, if I'm correct, they might have already reissued it. So yeah, it's one of those things where there's just certain guys it's just not going to happen. And it always when I think of the retired numbers, it was always interesting where people talked about Kevin Durant's number, and the Thunder reissued it, and it was a big to-do. I don't know if you guys followed this. It got reissued to P.J. Dozier. his number 35 from time with the Thunder was reissued to Dozier, and a lot of people got really upset because they felt like it was a slap in the face of Durant. But the reality was P.J. Dozier is Reggie Lewis's cousin, and 35 was Reggie Lewis's number, and he asked for permission to be able to wear that number to honor Reggie Lewis.
Yeah, it stung a little bit last year, and it was to a pretty innocuous player when the Grizzlies issued 16 for the first time. Somebody wear it since Powell.
Yeah, and I can see that. Yeah, it's one of those things where it would never happen, but I could imagine if Boston ever reissued number 33, it would just I don't know what I would think at that point.
Well,
I'd have
the governor would have to deploy the National Guard.
That would never happen. Now, there's a little difference between a player who asks to be traded, and that is what happened with Powell. He asked to be traded. Kevin Durant left Oak City. It's not like he played his whole career there. If you wanted later in life, when he's retired and he comes back and becomes a part of the Oklahoma City scene because he feels more comfortable in that city than anywhere else, then you can re-retire that number. He left you. Come on. You're gonna save his number forever? I wouldn't.
Yeah. Yep. I hear you, and it's funny. There are people I know back home who, to switch it to another sport, who they see no reason why the Patriots shouldn't reissue number 12. Now, I think that's absolute bananas.
They're going to. They're going to retire.
Don't ever give that. That one. And I know football doesn't do a lot of number retirements just because they need the numbers, but that's one that should never be worn again. It should. We don't need to do the Ring of Honor there. That can be retired.
No. They should put Brady's face on the money in New England.
Well, that would be fine with me too.
And it's some of it is what team are you going to go in to the Hall of Fame with? Yeah. Brady is going to go into the Hall of Fame as a New England Patriot.
Unlike baseball, there's not a hat per se.
Right.
You don't go in like Keith. I'll ask you this a bunch before we get into the training camps opening. But right now, if you could be the embed inside reporter, they give you full unfettered access. What team would you like to sign up for to be around from day one in camp all the way through the playoffs and maybe a parade for somebody?
It's a really good question. My snap answer would be Philadelphia, just because of the way the Simmons drama is playing out right now. It's a team that fancies themselves as a title contender, so I'd be very interested to see where that is going to go. But I think that's one of those things where I think that'll be over fairly soon. And then, so for those reasons, it's kind of hard to pick against 1A, and they're about as far away from each other as you can get. But give me the Nets or the Lakers, because it's going to be an interesting and long season for either one of those teams.
No doubt.
Those are pretty easy choices.
I know which one I want, and it's neither of those. And I don't dispute what you say at all, Keith. I'm going to throw in the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
Because you got Draymond Green, who's
last dance,
who's criticized his coach for the way that he handled Durant and himself. You got Clay coming back. You still got the second most exciting player or third most exciting player in the entire league to watch in Steph
in Curry
with the comeback of Clay. And we'll see what James Wiseman does. I think this team could be really fun to watch, and they're all personalities. They are all pretty clever and smart, particularly Curry, Steve Kerr, and Clay and Draymond Green.
Get us that pass, Keith.
Man,
get us that coverage.
I think that would be fun.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think that is going to be a fun team to follow. Now, I don't think the Green Kerr thing is going to become a story at all. I think we're going to very much see that one. They'll be asked about it, both of them at media day. We know that'll probably be, a big question. Will probably be asked to Steph and Clay and the guys who've been around for a while. And I think they're all going to basically say that's Draymond being Draymond, and he says what he wants to say, and as long as he shows up and
open
plays well,
with
that's
Draymond.
all we really care about.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Keith, I say it all the time. We ask them questions, and then they give us a provocative answer, and we don't like the answer. I love it when they give us provocative.
I love listening to Draymond Green, personally.
It's funny, too, because I think what we end up really seeing a lot of times with these guys is they don't necessarily say it to the media. And that wasn't a media situation. That was Draymond Green having a conversation with Kevin Durant is where he said that. It's when you put them in front of a mic with the media, that's when they're going to clam up a little bit. And that's where I always find it a little funny when it's like, well, that's not really what I said. And it's a little hard. Well, I mean, it is. We have the audio in a lot of cases.
Exactly what
we
you
have
said.
The video, but it is. Yeah, it is. It's Joel Embiid sparked that conversation this week too with his, hey, there's a lot of things that the media says and puts out there that's not necessarily true and those kind of things. And those are the things I think that's becoming more and more interesting, that so many of the players now they're going to take it in their own hands, and whether it be via podcast or tweeting or however they want to do it, they're going to get the story out the way they want the story to be out there.
I got the feeling Philly is going to be the big bust of the year this coming year. There's no way to repair the fracture with Simmons, and I don't see them getting the return for a guy that was so critical to their success, even with all his flaws.
I tend to look at teams as much as a lot of times we're all looking for the sleeper team. I look for the teams that have disaster potential, is what I call it.
Yeah,
where it just falls apart, and they're pretty high on my disaster potential list, because the longer this drags out, it's just going to get ugly. It's not going to be good for anybody. I mean, if he's still on the roster but not there come media day, every question is going to be, what do you think about Ben? And, how do you make this work without Ben? And all those things. And it's going to be, my guess is, it wouldn't surprise me if there's some kind of blanket statement put out there of, hey, we're not answering any Ben Simmons questions. But that doesn't mean that they're not still going to be asked anyway.
No doubt. Hey, enjoy your minute and a half of rest, and we'll be talking to you next week.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. That is our friend Keith Smith from Yahoo Sports down in Orlando. You heard, they want to move up. I think everybody wants to move up. That's what scares me about this story, and that's why I think it's so important. I might be repeating myself from the very beginning of the show, but I think Mike Oresco has to really be a leader here to try and talk
now more than
the
ever.
3 schools that are potential targets, to talk them into, stay with me, I'll use the leverage we got. I can raid them and bring in a BYU or a Boise. And if ESPN is the TV partner that would love for the Big 12 to break up to save themselves money, they could be, as they were already labeled, complicit in all of this. But there's a lot of different ways to move this thing, and Oresco is going to have to show a lot of adept leadership skill in order to try to turn the tables on Bowlesby. That would be my take on that. But I had to ask Keith, and I guess you can't blame UCF, because if it were Memphis that were mentioned in that story, we'd be talking in a whole different way about all this right now. I don't say that it any different. But when you sort of been scorned, now you're going, wait, we want to hold on to what we got. This hour of the show, the title sponsor, it's Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, and there's Genesis. And they got Genesis cars. They got G70s, they got G80s, they got G90s on the lot. Last time I was there, I don't believe they had the GV80. That's the SUV. They're supposed to get more of those, and, of course, they're going to have a smaller SUV. That GV70 will be coming out soon. And, a lot of the stuff has been slowed down because of the chip shortage, and there's not that many new cars out there, but they do have the Genesis cars. And they had a few of the Hyundais that are out there. This product's so good, that's why people clamor for it. And durable, so good that you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. They're basically saying, we're guaranteeing the car for 10 years because we know how good it is and how durable it is. And then you take that product and you couple that with a wonderful crew. I mean, the staff that's been together 15 years. They have been together through sales and through maintenance and through finance. They know how to work together, and they've got this product to sell, and they will take care of you. They start with a 3 or 36,000-mile maintenance package. That's right. They will change your oil, rotate your tires. They'll tighten your belts. They'll check your liquid levels. They're going to do everything they can to make sure that your car is running at peak efficiency. They understand if you're buying a new car, hey, that's a big deal. That's cause for celebration. And they make it joyous when you go to Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. We'll pause for just a minute, and when we come back, we got to make some SEC picks, and we get into the heart of the matter here with Arkansas, with Alabama, and then with the Rebels. Don't go anywhere.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy take you through lunch from 10 to 1 weekdays, only on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Tiger football opens at home against Nichols Saturday, September 4th at 6. And the rest of the schedule features SEC opponent Mississippi State, Navy, SMU, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now for all games, including Mississippi State, which starts at $60. Season tickets are also on sale, and you can get all 7 games for just $99. To lock in your seats for all the action, call 901-678-2331 or visit GoTigersGoTix.com.
The 34th Annual Memphis Chevy Show, presented by T-Mobile, makes its return to the Memphis International Raceway September 10th and 11th. The premier destination for all things Chevrolet features multiple classes of drag racing, an automotive swap meet, jet dragsters, and more. Get your vehicle registered and enter in a professionally judged car show, or just put it on display. You can also just sit back and enjoy the show. Tickets are now on sale online at just $20 for Friday and $25 for Saturday. Don't miss out on the largest car show in the Mid-South. Go to racemir.com for more information.
Taco Bell presents a get-out-of-bedtime story. It's time to wake up from this amazing dream, even though you're jet skiing on lemonade. How extreme! And oh, look at that, you just won the lottery. Is that a castle? Take the keys, it's your property. What's better than swimming in space? Just wait for the big reveal. It's Taco Bell breakfast and it's actually real. So it's time to wake up and bid your dreams farewell. Because toasted breakfast burritos are waiting for you, only at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell locations near you during breakfast hours only.
Hey, Memphis, thinking about buying a truck or SUV? Then come to the Sunrise Truck Corral. Want a red truck, black truck, white truck? How about a blue truck? Black wheels, chrome wheels. Come to the Sunrise Truck Corral. 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, extended cab, crew cab. Want a lifted truck? Come to the Sunrise Truck Corral. Want a diesel? How about a gas engine? Ford, Dodge, Chevy, Jeep, GMC, Toyota. We got them all at the Sunrise Truck Corral, the only dedicated truck lot in Memphis. Can't find a truck you like? Call, click, or come in. We'll find you the dream truck. Sunrise Truck Corral, old Hummer building on Highway 64 in Bartlett. We make it fun to buy a truck.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Upgrade your commute at Acura of Memphis. Seize the thrill and test drive one of our award-winning models, each packed with cutting-edge technology, luxurious amenities, and a driving experience that's sure to awaken your inner self. Driving shouldn't be a chore, it should be an adventure. Advance your drive today, shop our aggressive lease and finance options now. Luxury is waiting at Acura of Memphis, or shop online 24/7. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Halfway home on this college football Thursday night. 4 big games at least that I will be going back and forth.
Now, you have American pride tonight. You're pulling for UCF for that reason as well, aren't you?
I'm pulling for UCF. I'm pulling for ECU over Appalachian State. I'm always pulling for the American. I've got American pride. I should be the commissioner.
If UCF bolts, man, you will be right there with me and Drew in despising them.
Yeah. I will.
That was just a truth serum coming out, wasn't it?
I will. I like this league. I particularly like
it's
it
the first
for
league I've really had an affinity
Yeah.
for. The Tigers have been in.
I've been disappointed in it as a basketball league. Really, I have.
Well, yeah, me too, because the bar was so high, and had UConn, and then they bolted, and the Tigers during most of this is kind of not scuffle, but it hadn't been vintage.
And UConn's
getting ready to be.
UConn's bolting, that was suicide.
It's getting ready to be 1862 Chateaubriand made in Paris.
There's a long way to go.
And I don't have a clue what any of that meant because I don't know wines.
Right. Well, That would be a very valuable wine.
Okay.
My suspicion is there's a long way to go in this expansion talk. And if I were the Big 12, just to protect myself, because who knows if West Virginia doesn't leave, I probably would try to get to 16 because that's where everybody's going, right? I would try to get to 16, and I would take Memphis and Boise to add to that list. But
I would too.
Again, if I'm Mike Oresco,
I could really dislike Boise then.
I just don't quite understand.
Bryant, would you be with me disliking Boise then?
Yeah, maybe a little.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Why does the Big 12, after this TV contract is up, right?
Uh-huh.
Why does the Big 12 have the power over the grouping that is the American today? And that's what I would say if I were Mike Oresco. I'd say,
slow down. Think about this.
We got the better television markets. We've actually got as good a football teams. Once Texas and Oklahoma.
Do you boot anybody? Does Mike Oresco have to boot anybody?
Well, that would be tricky. I would hope not.
Do you make them go all football and basketball?
I know
do you
this.
Tell Wichita State, hey, you really need to be either back in the Valley or find the A-10?
I would tell them find the Big East.
That's a good idea.
I would tell Wichita State to find the Big East.
Do they have the cachet right now for the Big East?
The other
they
aspect
did under
is,
Greg Marshall.
Does the Big East play baseball? I really don't know the answer
question.
to that. I should know the answer to that because Wichita State has a pro baseball program.
They really do. Yeah.
And so I don't know. Do you lose if you're going to lose schools? I've heard people say lose Temple. Well,
I'd be fine by that. I've said it.
What? But why?
I've said lose.
I don't want to lose the Philadelphia market. I really do not.
Really watching?
Well, there is some penetration in that market, and I think if they were to win and win big, they would draw. But I don't want to lose that. East Carolina is not a big market. Maybe that would be a school that you would lose. You said Navy. I could understand losing Navy this along the same lines that you would lose Wichita State, is that you don't play both sports in the league.
Yeah.
So, I see those things.
But
Mike
Oresco is going to earn every dime of that paycheck this year.
He really
in the last
is.
2 years. Think about it.
I got to tell you, football tonight, we mentioned all those games. You know what that means, don't you? It means it's time for caramel apples at Dinstall's. Those fresh, tart, Granny Smith apples dipped in Dinstall's fresh caramel.
Have you been to the one downtown by the Majestic?
I've not been there yet.
I did a week ago today.
Yeah?
I was downtown. I came back from Oxford, went to the Majestic, went by Dinstall's there.
Did you buy anything?
I did, and it is a perfect. I mean, it just fits so perfectly downtown. It's where Dinstall started. Now they're back.
Right? Did you go downstairs?
I didn't know I had access to it.
Well, I don't know that you do yet.
Well,
but the plans
I didn't know I needed the special Volo pass.
The plans are, if all goes well, I'll lead you on a tour because Becky's going to do a chocolate and candy museum.
Oh, what a way to go!
How about that? That is going to be really cool. But
and I love the linkage with Dinstall's and the Rendezvous for all the desserts at the Rendezvous.
Oh yeah,
ground up, crushed.
Cashew Crunch.
Cashew Crunch. Yeah,
isn't that part of the makeup of the what is it?
Every dessert. It's Rendezvous.
Every dessert.
Yeah.
All the crusts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, look, you can, by the way, get that Cashew Crunch on your caramel apple. You can choose your favorite. You can go plain, just caramel. You can go pecan. You can add chocolate. That's like the turtle apple. Or you can do Cashew Crunch on your caramel.
Getting close to Halloween time with caramel apples.
Oh, my goodness. Also, by the way, caramel corn. And this week, because fall is almost here, Becky's going, buy one, get one. She wrote me BOGO. I had to go ask you what BOGO meant. Buy one, get one.
You were stunned that I knew.
Well, I should have known. I actually knew when I went in. I just wanted to know if you knew because I didn't. Becky, I said, what does BOGO mean? She goes, buy one, get one.
Miss Becky, I'm trying to help him.
That's my favorite because really that's like one for free. And that's my favorite word. And say Dinstall's, that's my second favorite word because everything there is spectacular. All right, we got to make some sweet picks.
We're down to the last three in the SEC. Where do you want to start?
You tell me. I'll go.
Let's start with Bama. I got them going 11-1, only losing to A&M.
Let's start with Bama. I got them 11-1, only losing in College Station. You and I are just scary alike this year.
Bryant?
11-1, losing to the undefeated Texas A&M Aggies.
Look at us.
Yeah, he's got Georgia and Bama undefeated. So we got a championship game right there.
Colossal SEC championship game, if that's the case. All right, Ole Miss. Go ahead, Dave.
I like Ole Miss. I think they win tonight.
Monday night.
Monday night, and I think they cover that.
They're
line
playing
too.
tonight, and I'm not there, Dave. I'm in big trouble.
Well, I should have known that. You're right. You're in big trouble. That would be the end of your job.
Yes, it would be.
Yeah.
When you only play 12, you kind of need to be there.
They're going to beat Austin Peay. They're going to beat Tulane and Oxford. They're going to take the week off so they can get ready to go to Alabama. And like everybody else in Tuscaloosa, they will lose that game.
Yeah, tallest mountain in college sports to climb.
Arkansas is next at home. They get it. They go to Knoxville. They will beat Tennessee.
Lane homecoming. Do you think they'll have corsages for us?
I am really curious to see how they will treat Lane because it's been a while, and it's not like he was.
It's been 12 years.
It's been 12 years, and it's not like he was the only coach who's departed in that time period.
That's right. His was after 1 year.
There's been a few others. So I think they'll be kinder to him than, say, if this had happened 10 years ago, he'd come back.
Pretty rough.
Yeah, it would have been a lot rougher than it will be. And
I'm with you exactly so far.
He's and they're going to win that game in Knoxville. They're going to lose at home to LSU. They'll beat Auburn. They'll beat Liberty. I can't. Whoa. Yeah, I was really kind of hoping that was an off week for Memphis. It is not. Because I would have loved to have seen that game. Then in comes A&M, and like Brian Dacus, I am high on A&M. I think the Aggies will get them in Oxford. They beat Vandy. I think they're going to lose to Mississippi State. I already had that. That game is in Starkville, and I know the home team has struggled in that series for a while, but I think it's getting reversed. And I like State in that game. But I still have Ole Miss 8-4. 4-4.
Same for me. A little bit different way to get there. My 4 losses are to Alabama, LSU, and I've been really torn. I think I even picked 9-3 on Jocks this morning, but I'm so torn on the Auburn game.
Well, you must have them losing because I had them winning.
Yeah, I have them losing at Auburn, and I have them losing against Texas A&M. Could break through against Auburn. Could lose the Egg Bowl. Could break through against Texas A&M. Could lose to Arkansas or at Tennessee. But I think it will settle in some way, shape, form, or fashion. 8 up, 4 down, 4-4 in the league.
And we are alike, a little different map, as you said, Bryant.
I actually have them at 9-3. I think I have the same losses as y'all, Alabama and LSU. I think they beat Mississippi State. I think they lose to Texas A&M. The tricky one I thought, I kept going back and forth, was Arkansas because it's right there between Alabama and Tennessee. I think that could be a really tough game for them.
Yeah, and that's a swing game for the team we're getting ready to pick, the Arkansas Razorbacks. Sam Pittman got them last year. Ole Miss did win at home 2 years ago against the Razorbacks in 2019, but lost in 2017 to Arkansas and Oxford, lost in 2015 on the Hunter Henry heave. So it has been a lot of different ways to lose to Arkansas.
I am not as high on the Hogs. I have a feeling as you guys may be. I'm not sure they don't take a half step backwards. I know they lost some close games. They could have won.
Not prepared for that.
I know that. No, fan bases are never prepared for bad years, and yet every year somebody has a bad year. Their fan base isn't ready for it. I don't think Arkansas is either, and we'll find that out from our friend Drew Barrett when he joins
Razorback
us
Insider.
at 5 o'clock. That's right. I've got them beating Rice at home. I've got them losing to Texas in Fayetteville. And there are plenty of people I've seen that predict Arkansas will win that game. I just don't see that. They'll beat Georgia Southern. They lose to A&M in Arlington. They lose to Georgia.
How about that? Play A&M and Georgia back-to-back weeks. Have you some fun with that?
Yeah, that is not fun for sure. Then you've got Ole Miss in Oxford. I don't see them winning that game. They lose to Auburn at home. They beat Pine Bluff. They beat Mississippi State. They lose to Baton Rouge. They lose to Bama. They lose to Missouri because I think Missouri is good, as I've mentioned. I've only got them 4-8 and surprisingly 1-7 in the league.
That is not the step the Arkansas fans are prepared for. Rice, a W, Old Southwest Conference game, another Old Southwest Conference game. And, yeah, a lot of this is my heart. one of the most fun times I ever had in my life. 2 different times, beating Texas in Little Rock in 1979 with my friend Bryce Fletcher. Arkansas won that day 17-14 in Little Rock, and when I was a freshman, 42-11 over Texas. Hogs win it September 11th over Texas. They beat Georgia Southern 3-0, and then it gets rough. Lost to A&M, lost to Georgia, lost to Ole Miss in Oxford, and a loss to Auburn in Fayetteville. They beat UAPB, and I'm glad they're playing. And this week announced the Razorbacks over the course of 4 days. December 1, we'll play Central Arkansas in basketball, and December 4th, we'll play UALR in basketball. So they're playing in-state, contracted with Arkansas State in a few years in hoops as well.
Would they ever play Arkansas State in football?
Scheduled in 2025.
Okay. It is
definitely going to happen,
wow.
No doubt about it.
Was that done before Tom Bowen got there?
Right before it, but in his interview process, he knew about it. Mississippi State, a win in Fayetteville for Arkansas, lost to LSU, lost to Bama, and they win on the Friday after Thanksgiving to beat Mizzou to be 6-6. And that gives the AutoZone Liberty Bowl great prospects between, if I'm right, 6-6 Tennessee or 6-6 Arkansas. And if there's not a Big 12 team, how about this at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl? Since they don't play regular season, have it be Arkansas and Tennessee.
That would be fine, I'm sure.
That's the game that made the Liberty Bowl in 1971.
Steve
Earhart, one that put them on the map.
Steve Earhart would jump at that. I told you there was, I can't remember which was the service that projected bowls this week and had Memphis in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl because there wasn't an SEC rep. Of course, that would never happen with your scenario because you got 13 of the 14 teams in.
I got them all in.
But this particular service had Memphis and TCU in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
Old Conference USA battle.
Sure
hope
would be.
Hope we don't have the brawl like we did. LT?
Bring back LaDarian Tomlinson, and we'll fight again.
Boy, that was a Donnybrook. Bryant?
I have them right between y'all, 5-7. I have them beating Rice, losing to Texas, beating Georgia Southern, losing to A&M, losing to Georgia, losing to Ole Miss, losing to Auburn, beating Pine Bluff, beating Mississippi State, losing to LSU, losing to Alabama, and then winning that final game against Missouri.
The Arkansas depth issues will be fixed after this year. The recruiting's great at most of the recruiting services. They're in everyone's top 15 right now. On the next Saturday, not on the day, it's right here at us. Arkansas and Texas next week. Jerry Jones will have grandsons on both sidelines. John Stephen Jones, backup quarterback at Arkansas, will be on the Razorback sideline. And his grandson, Paxton Anderson, Charlotte's son, is a backup tight end for the Texas Longhorns.
How old is Jerry Jones now?
Jerry Jones is around 80.
I knew it. For the very first time, at least
in
my mind.
22 and 64, and that's 52 years ago.
He's 78.
78.
Okay.
Wow.
That's
because have you been watching Hard Knocks at all?
That's 57 years ago. No, I don't get HBO.
Okay. You're really that is something you would like. They do such a good job. HBO does. I mean, a spectacular job on Hard Knocks. The production value, incredible. But I have noticed for the first time, because I've always thought, I knew that Jerry was getting up there in years, but you've never seen that in his appearance, in his energy level.
Virile, yeah.
He looks for the first time like a grandfather. And it's playing out when your grandkids are in college.
Well, he's got to be close to
your grandkids are in college
too.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jerry's getting up there.
One of these days for the grands and the greats, it's going to be let me tell you something. Nice inheritance.
If you make it to the grands and the greats as a person, as the grand. Or the great grand, that means you've lived a darn full life.
I think he's been great for the Cowboys.
Oh, you know what? I agree. I did not care for the way he came in and treated the old regime. I thought he was terrible, the way that he treated Tom Landry. That all occurred right
Bum
after.
Bright to do it on the way out, and Bum Bright didn't do it. And he said, all right, I got to do it then. He begged him not to make me be the bad guy.
Well, you could have treated him a little bit nicer. They just threw out Tex Schramm, and Gil Brandt wasn't treated very nicely.
He invited
by him.
Landry on 2 different occasions before he accepted on the 3rd for Ring of Honor ceremony and was turned down by him.
Right,
And-
twice because of the way that when he came in, he was treated. And then, maybe that's exactly how Jerry Jones felt like he had to do it, but I did not like the way that was done. And in the end, he did. He made amends. Look, he fired Brad Sham.
Mm-hmm.
And then wisely brought Brad Sham back.
Well, he's kissed and made up with Jimmy Johnson. He's learned that from Coach Broyles. Of all the people who would fall out with Coach Broyles, it was an uncanny knack to fall back in with him.
When was the last time you had your air conditioning system tuned up, or what about your heating system, and what about the safety check on that heating system? Because it is football. That means fall is here. Great news. Thanks to John. You can get both the same time this month just by calling Conway. The 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on the air conditioning system, that's $69. That's where they tune inside, get all the dirt and the grime and the leaves out on the outside system. It's terrific. They do all of that, $69, but now they'll include a heating system safety check at no charge. They've got a camera, goes up the system, make sure there's no leaks or anything of that nature. And they do this without any charge this fall. Make sure you're ready for those cold winter nights. Make sure it's all safe. They'll include a carbon monoxide test and all of that, all now for $69. $69 for the heat check, the carbon monoxide test, and all of the 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up. Please, don't hesitate. Get it done. You'll save money on your MLGW bill, and your system will last longer. All you got to do is call 384-3511. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. Back in a minute, we put a wrap on hour number 2 on this Thursday of Sports Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. When was the last time you had your air conditioning system tuned up? What about your heating system safety check? Good news, you can get them both at the same time this month. Call Conway Services for our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your air conditioning system for only $69. We'll remove years of dirt, grime, and leaves from your air conditioning system. It's like taking your air conditioner to a car wash, all for only $69. And we'll include a heating system safety check at no charge. That's right, Conway Services 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your air conditioning system, and we'll include a heating system safety check at no charge, making sure you're ready for those cold winter nights. If that's not enough, we'll include a carbon monoxide test, all for only $69. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, electric service company this week, and we'll perform your super tune-up for only $57 with a free heating system safety check.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
The Labor Day event's here at Gap Factory and GapFactory.com. Shop 40 to 70% off almost everything. Plus, tanks from $5, shorts from $10, and jeans from $20. Through September 7th at Gap Factory and GapFactory.com.
If you're going on vacation, making a college campus visit, or if business takes you out of town, there's just no better place to board your dog than Barks and Recreation, 965 Reddick Cove between Bud Davis Cadillac and the Blue Plate Cafe in East Memphis. Boarding, daycare, grooming, we have the best of everything at Barks. Indoor-outdoor kennels so your family member can go in and out as they please. Indoor and outdoor play areas. 4 walks a day. Group play and individual attention from the best staff in the Mid-South, which includes an overnight staff to ensure the safety and comfort of your pet 24 hours a day. All reasons to choose Barks and Recreation above all other boarding and daycare facilities. BarksDaycare.com or 509-0909. Check us out and make your reservations now at BarksDaycare.com. If your dog could speak, he'd say Barks.
No one outfits golfers better than Edwin Watts Golf Shops. We've been fitting golfers since 1968. Utilizing cutting-edge fitting technology, we'll analyze your swing and our Foresight launch monitors and fit you with the perfect club, pair of shoes, the latest golf apparel, golf balls, bags, and more. So come by today for your complete custom fitting. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Ocean and Brett Norsworthy.
My world was strapped against my back. I held my head.
There's a story coming out, and I was beginning to think we would be seeing less of these. But it will not be the case for this young man from Little Rock, Arkansas, Bryson Warren, who is considered the number 14 basketball prospect in ESPN's class of 2023. He is 16 years old, Brett. He is going to be 17 in October. I guess he is entering or would be entering what would be his junior year of high school. He shunned offers from Arkansas, Tennessee, Kansas, Memphis, Oklahoma State, Missouri, Auburn, and others. He received his first scholarship offer from Oral Roberts when he was a 14-year-old middle schooler. He is signed with the Overtime Elite League, the OEL. And he's not the first guy to do this.
Which means we won't hear from him again until he heads to the NBA.
Well, he can't even go to the NBA until 24.
Yeah.
This was the class
I hope
of
it's worth it.
23.
It may be.
I hope it is too.
But I know you can go really, really identify and define yourself and make a lot of money NIL putting on that Razorback uniform.
I agree. And he's 6'2", but here's the deal. He couldn't make money at Arkansas for 2 more years, right?
That's correct.
He couldn't so
he's taking it now.
So he's decided because of
young
this
fella, 2 years isn't that long.
Overtime elite.
I was just talking about 1979 and 1981 like it was yesterday.
I don't know how to feel about this. You take a kid who's just 16 years old.
I hope it works out for him.
I do too.
But
it's.
I know Moses Mooney
crazy.
needed that year at Arkansas.
You know, he's a skinny kid, 6'2".
A lot of 6'2" skinny guys out there.
Gets a lot of comparison to Darius Garland and C.J. McCollum. Great scoring instincts, but I think in the competition this year,
C.J. McCollum with the Trailblazers, he gets compared to him, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
At
16.
Yeah. His state title game averaged 24 points, 3 rebounds last year. I think he moved up a year to play in the IBL this year and only averaged like 10 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Best of luck to him. I have reservations about taking a kid and start paying him as in his junior year in high school.
Dave,
I don't know.
We can remember when it was. I mean, it was revolutionary when Moses Malone did it in the ABA, and then Bill Willoughby and Darryl Dawkins and Moses Malone. It worked out wonderfully for him.
For some reason, I don't.
Great career, straight to the Hall of Fame, champion.
And this is rather hypocritical of me. I don't have a problem with Coco Gauff at 15 having the opportunity to make money on the tennis court.
Individual sport.
You know, I guess I don't know why I don't have a problem with that. But I do kind of, that's because her family sort of was involved in all that
and we
process.
Accepted it a long time ago.
Yeah, maybe so. But it's
Jennifer Capriati started her comeback at 16.
You're right. It just seems weird to me to take a kid out of high school on a basketball team, which is not a solo sport, an individual sport, and you lure him away from his team and his buddies and guys that he could play with for the next 6 years if he went to college with them.
A lot better go right.
And you take him away from that social strata and you put him, although the Overtime Elite League, I think, is all younger kids, right? So you're not putting them up against 24-year-olds or 26-year-olds like the G League Elite.
Would you change rooms with me to watch an Overtime Elite game?
You'd have to pay me money to watch.
I wouldn't go down the hall to watch
Overtime Elite League. I would get in that room with you. I have no qualms. I know exactly where you go every day. I know you're careful,
I'm not talking about that.
Oh.
I was talking about, are you interested in it? We're talking about
the only
anything
way,
communicable.
you know what? If they paid me money to do the games on TV or radio, I would consider it.
Boy, my opening fee's high, though.
Mine would be too.
I don't think they can match that.
Well, they're paying 16-year-olds
well,
to leave high school.
They're paying quality
they gotta
control
have
football
some money.
coaches a lot more than they are pre- and post-game hosts.
This portion of our show brought to you by Memphis City Golf. Now's the perfect time to go. You won't find them in better condition. I've been saying this, and I'm not kidding. I passed by Galloway, and I passed by Audubon today. Never seen it look better. And I played Galloway last week. It's plush. It looks like a country club. It feels like a country club. Fox Meadows is the same way. Ali and the superintendent, Allen, there, they have done a remarkable job. Pine Hill. Please go play Pine Hill. In November, it's going to change. They're going to totally redo it. It'll be closed for a year. Go play this historic course while you still can. And you talk to Will, the pro there, and all the other folks that go play it on a regular basis, they whisper, don't tell anybody, but it's the best it's been in years, maybe since 240 came in and changed the holes then. It's going to be spectacular, and it will be at Overton Park, too. There's a total commitment, of the Overton Park redo by the folks that did Sweetens Cove in Chattanooga, which is now a golf phenomenon story. Same people. This course is going to be beautiful. It's not going to be open until spring. They had hoped to open it in the fall. The point is this. Memphis city government understands golf is a great amenity to make a city great. For 100 years, they've had golf in Memphis. It's been a sporting tradition. That investment, that commitment is still there. Go see what I'm talking about. Go play a city public golf course. 2 hours in the books. When we come back, this will be fun. We haven't talked to Drew Barrett since he left us to go to Northwest Arkansas. He's going to talk Tigers with us in just a minute.
Whether it's football, basketball, baseball, golf, or real estate, having the winning coach makes all the difference in your success. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors, and I'm with Coach Terry Tippett, winner of 6 state basketball championships. Coach, what's been the secret to your and your team's successes?
Sheldon, there's no one secret. It becomes a pattern of success after coaching for so many years and learning the ins and outs of the game and the players, a lot like the pattern of your success in selling homes.
Thanks, Coach. Like you and your program, I developed my highly successful strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option, and I also tried to use it in my golf game.
Sheldon, tried is the optimum word. You better stick to selling homes, as you're always hitting holes in one at that instead of double bogeys.
Thanks a lot. And if anyone is thinking of selling their home, make sure and talk to 2 to 3 coaches. I mean real estate brokers. Let me be one of them. You can reach me at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. That's 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com and be a winner.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
The bridge is open. Now it's really easy to take the 15-minute drive to Cypress View Golf and Recreation and enjoy the spectacular upgrades made to the clubhouse and golf course. The fairways are looking great and the greens are better than ever. No traffic, no excuses. If you're tired of paying greens and cart fees, Cypress View has a membership that includes unlimited golf, cart, range balls, and more. A family membership is just $199 per month plus tax. Members also have access to the Olympic-sized pool, fitness center, and tennis courts. The golf shop is stocked with FootJoy apparel, Titleist bags, and equipment. A huge selection of Puka headwear and more. Cypress View Grill has a wide selection of choices from burgers to brats, Phillies to quesadillas, flatbreads to oven-fired pizzas. You're covered from golf to goods to grub. And now Cypress View has a beer license, so grab a cold one in the grill. See why Cypress View Golf and Recreation is one of the fastest growing clubs in the Mid-South. Call 870-739-6305 or visit online cypressviewgolf.com.
Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
It's finally time to get out of the house. So make sure you stop by Family Leisure with great prices on in-stock and incoming products. Keep the kids active with play gyms, in stock, ready for delivery. And by the way, installation from the pros, I always recommend that. Markdowns on remaining game room products and those beautiful massage chairs. And the hot tubs, they're going fast. Get out of the house and get to Family Leisure. Wooden Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Waldo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
A very, very, very special guest, someone that is near and dear to our hearts, will join us after I tell you about FanDuel, the title sponsor of this hour, and that will be our friend Drew Barrett on all things Razorbacks and all things SEC, and, of course, his alma mater will get his pick on his beloved Memphis Tigers. College football, it's back. FanDuel Sportsbook making Week 1 even more exciting. Right now, all customers get a risk-free bet on any Week 1 game. That's right. Place any Week 1 bet and get a refund in site credit if you don't win. Take all those points in Bowling Green tonight and hang on for dear life at the buzzer against Tennessee. Number 1 rated sportsbook app in America. Easy to use, safe and secure, fast payouts. Just open the FanDuel Sportsbook app to get started. New to FanDuel Sportsbook, sign up with promo code CASH to also get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's promo code CASH. Must be 21 and older and are present in Tennessee. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $10 unless otherwise indicated. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Hit up the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales down on Goodman Road and online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. 662-890-7184. All the cars, test-driven, all checked out, bumper to bumper, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. And if by chance they don't have it on the lot, they'll go find that special car just for you. You'll be treated like family at DeSoto Auto Sales. Laid back, down-home atmosphere, no high-pressure sales tactics. They want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. That means you test drive a car, credit work approved, paperwork completed, and you're out of there in 45 minutes or less. They know we live in a world today that time matters. That's why they get you out of there in 45 minutes or less. It's that simple. At DeSoto Auto Sales on Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience. Dave, are we ready to endure this with an insufferable winner of the golf picks?
Winner? When Drew Barrett left our fold to go to the riches and the fame of Northwest Arkansas, he
had him mired in third place.
Was
really did
mired
nothing.
In third. He
now
was
claiming
close.
A ring, part of the banner ceremony.
He was close to your territory, which is like way back.
Yeah, I mean, who gets
Way
rings for that? Who gets banners for that?
He was in the way back.
Now, yesterday I implemented, and Drew, you really need to hear this before we get going very much further.
I didn't go along with that.
I implemented a rare codicil in the golf picking rules that if a team has that much dysfunction and that many members thrown at them, then the last place person is named winner, like Central Florida claiming a national championship. So I win, Drew.
Yeah, I don't think that's how it works. I'm pretty sure I'm still on the fairness and committee board, and I was not given an email.
That's
no
practices and standards committee.
Let me tell you, Drew.
Practice and standards committee.
He tried to slide that past when I was not on the air. I had left to go to a soccer game, and that is when he brought this up. So, that he admitted on the air. So I'm actually going to let this slide because he admitted on the air that his ego was so fragile.
So fragile. You know it is, Drew.
That he had to have the W this way. I mean, this has been was just a demoralizing experience for him. He was never in the race.
It was crushing. Drew, we've missed you. Have you missed us?
Yes, I have. I have missed y'all. I've enjoyed my time over here in the River Valley and up through Northwest Arkansas, but I have missed being back in Sports 56 and the 901. It's hard to really enjoy my true victory of winning the golf picks without being able to see it and see the light in y'all's faces.
Now you can thank Gabe Kuhn and Brian Dacus for another pseudo victory for you.
Yeah.
Well, I started out the train. I got the train rolling down the track.
That train wasn't rolling, Drew. It was
the momentum that I built up for them.
There was no momentum.
As y'all said, I was in third. If I would have been in last place, who knows what would have happened.
Drew, I said it was Mike Shula taking credit for Alabama's football success.
As long as you're on the team, you still get a ring, right? So that's the rules. You play one game for a championship team, you get a ring. I'm claiming my ring. I'm taking my banner, and I'm enjoying my victory.
You know what that would be like? That would be like a manager who got fired, and the new skipper came in, turned everything around. They made this incredible run and won the World Series.
Yeah.
And the fired skipper goes, wait.
I think Billy Martin did that a time or two, though.
He might have.
Drew, I told you when you left us on that tearful, sad day, but we're so proud of you that you were going to a place that they have a passion for their Razorbacks. Have you been surprised by just how passionate they are?
A little bit, yeah. It's been kind of it's not really the passion because, regardless of what fan base you're around, and y'all know this being in the middle of SEC country and with the University of Memphis, there's always passion there, but it's how in your face they really are about it. And I mean that in the most complimentary way that I can. I mean it as a passionate fan base that not only wants their Razorbacks to succeed, but wants you to know how much they want it and they truly need it. I mean, we get callers all day long talking about the expectations for the Razorbacks, their love for the Razorbacks. I can't tell you how many times we've had a caller call in and say, this season reminds me of 1974. This season reminds me of 1996. They're just throwing out random years and then guys like they are reliving it today. It truly is a very passionate fan base. And you were right. You told me when I moved here that get ready to be involved and immersed in this because for the state of Arkansas, it's the major leagues. There's nothing bigger in town. It's the only thing that they honestly want to hear about a lot of times. We talk Razorbacks for almost full 2 hours. As soon as we do me and Phil Elson like to do some national stuff. We're both big baseball guys. And as soon as we do that, you can count it down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Somebody's hitting up the text line going, where's the Razorback talk? And we just finished for an hour and a half. So it's a passionate group.
They want more and more and more. And this season,
they do.
We just did our Razorback picks. And I can't argue with Dave at 4-8. Bryant, it was at 5-7. I'm at 6-6, and my heart's talking a lot with Texas. Boy, would any of those three picks suit them?
I think it would, Brett, and I think the main thing it's going to be a lot like Justin Fuentes second year at the University of
Great
Memphis.
comparison,
You
Drew.
finished 3-9, but so many games you were in it. That Duke game, especially to start the season, you lost the game, but you were right there, and you're like, I feel like something is coming. Something special is about to happen. And I believe with this Razorback team, it's not really – yes, you'd like to get the 6 wins. You'd like to get to the bowl game. But it's more about the feel of it and the transition that the team is going under year 2 with Sam Pittman finally getting a full season to implement. And, obviously with the defense with Barry, Dave, Lamar Odom, being able to get all his stuff in there. Thank you. You do not know how much it's paying me to say that, to not be able to say that in Arkansas.
Yeah, nice.
Have you had a chance to speak to Barry?
I personally have not yet. I'm sure that as the season goes on, we'll get a chance to. But personally, I have not had an opportunity to speak with them.
Okay.
But as far as the season goes, back to my point, they could. I feel like it's really just a feel of it. Whether it's 6-6, whether it's 7-5, whether it's 4-8. As long as they feel like they're in the game and the depth is there and momentum there is good, I think Razorback Nation will be okay.
Helps on the way. The recruiting, and I said that every service has Razorbacks at worst top 15.
Oh yeah, recruiting has just been outstanding, and you can tell how much passion Sam Pittman has for the program by the recruiting tools that they use. All through social media, the catchphrases, the turn on the juice box, the yes sirs, and all that other stuff that
Dave
he
earlier
loves to promote.
Sam Pittman's from Oklahoma. You may have got that confused with Brett Bielema. Sam Pittman's a native Oklahoman in the job at Arkansas.
All right, I don't know. Maybe that is it, because I remember when Bielema first came and everybody was going, "Why would you be hiring a Big Ten guy?" And I thought I had read that he had come from Oklahoma originally.
No,
but maybe it is the Pittman.
He's
deal.
Land of Lincoln, but Pittman.
Yeah. I looked it up after you said that because I did not think that was right.
He's from Oklahoma, and he gets it. He understands them, and he understands the tall task in front of him.
He really does, and you can tell that he understands it's an uphill battle. I can't tell you how many times, even just in joking fashion, saying that this is where he wants to end his career, that there really isn't another head coaching job that he wants or would really be interested in pursuing, especially getting his first shot this kind of late in his coaching career. So he's putting all of his chips in the middle of the table on Arkansas, and he's ready to succeed. And I think the state is fully behind him. And you talk about recruiting. There's a big story, I think, last month of an 8th grader who took out a billboard on I-49 saying, "Coach Pittman, I want to be a Razorback," in his little website with his highlights. So I think that the whole state is behind him and wants to play for him.
That's a good story, and I love your comparison because Fuente did do it in stages and then was really good, and he used that to get to Virginia Tech.
It was a tough job that had to be done in baby steps.
It sure was. Well, I don't think the Arkansas program was as far behind as the Memphis program was when Pittman took it over.
I don't know. You ask a lot of people, they talk about Chad Morris the way that a lot of people in the Memphis area talk about Larry Porter. So it's
another good comparison, sadly, Drew. And Coach Fuente had to start off with that ugly first loss to UT Martin, and then after that, just every week was chopping wood and getting a little better. Drew, with all the guests y'all have had on, and y'all have a great lineup of guests, and I knew you and Phil would hit it off peas and carrots. I knew it. I told you that. I knew you would.
You did.
All the guests you've talked to, what is the thing you think everybody's gotten most accurately about this upcoming SEC season, and what do you think somebody might be missing?
Well, I think the most accurate thing that we have had, and it's kind of a cliche, is that nobody's picking against Alabama, regardless of how much they lost. Bryce Young is the heir apparent, is going to have a great season. Nick Saban's going to reload. The one thing that I think that some people have missed, and I'm pretty sure, Brett, you picked them to have a great season, if not to win the East, if not to win the SEC. I'm concerned about Georgia. I haven't fully bought into Georgia yet. I think J.C. Daniels is a great quarterback. Kirby Smart obviously knows what he's doing, year in and year out recruiting class. But I'm just concerned that he doesn't have enough weapons around him. I don't really know who he's going to throw the ball to. He can have a great quarterback all day long, but if nobody's there to catch it, nobody's there to catch it.
Yeah. Well, we're going to find out this weekend for sure. I know you're keeping up with your alma mater. What are your expectations for Ryan Silverfield's year 2?
We do our picks in 15 minutes, so we can't show our hand.
Okay. I didn't want to. I haven't.
But we want yours.
Is this Sharpie? Is this pen to paper?
Indelible ink.
We already passed lightly.
Indelible ink, Lamb Book of Life. You know the stakes we play for.
You're right. I know. It's silly me to even try to ask for an extension 2 days before the season starts.
What are you going? You want to go +2 instead of +1 or -1?
No, he wants to wait until they name a starting quarterback. He wants a starting quarterback.
that would be really nice. I'm trying to keep up with it as much as I can. From a distance, the Grant Cannell being day-to-day, now back to practice. And again, I guess really is as good as advertised, being a true freshman and him looking to be someone who's really going to compete for that starting role. But the main thing that I'm still trying to figure out, and I think a lot of people probably are, is the running game. The running game was so down last year from how great we've been on the ground for the last 4 or 5 years. And if anybody's going to step up, and just looking at the depth chart, from earlier this week, some of the guys that I thought were going to be key to solving the running game, and Rodriguez Clark and Asa Martin, they're sitting down there at the bottom of the depth chart. So I don't really know very much about Brandon Thomas. We saw Marquise Weaver last year, Cameron Fleming last year, and if the running game gets back to the way it was and the way that we were used to before 2020, I think this team goes 10-2. I really do. I think this is going to be a special season, regardless of who is under center.
Well, just to alleviate your anxiety over the running game, they are speaking in terms of Brandon Thomas of being special, of being Darrell Henderson kind of back, speed with power.
Mm-hmm.
And
bring it home.
I think Gabe Rogers is going to be the guy that will take on the Tony Pollard kind of role, and I think he'll do it quite well. So I think they're going to use all 5 of those backs that you mentioned, and I think they're deep there, and I think their offensive line is built more to run now than it was a year ago. So the running game should be better, and it's clearly a better defense. When I asked the one aspect that Ryan Silverfield liked about his team, one thing that you would crow about it, he said very clearly it was defensive depth. And then basically I think I asked him if there was one position that was this, like your seeding, the number 1 seed on my team by position, what would be the top position? Is it O-line, D-line? It was linebackers, because they've got 6 linebackers. They're going to rotate a whole bunch of linebackers they feel really good about. Now, can you win in this league with a great defense and an offense that doesn't do much? No, you can't. You've got to score 30 points a game, I think, if you're going to be successful. But I think this offense will do that, and I think the defense will limit you to 30 or under.
I think they will, too. I'm excited to see those defensive guys that you were just talking about. It's off the top of my head, J.J. Russell coming back for a 5th or 6th year. It feels like he's been there for forever. Thomas Pickens had a decent season last year. Of course, Sanchez Blake. I know that's a little bit further back as a safety, and then the Michigan State transfers. I can't remember their names off the top of my head, but
Julian Barnett.
Great reports off of them.
Julian Barnett is the corner, and he's going to play. Believe it or not, Julian Barnett is in a battle. And they are listed on the 2 deep as or. Julian Barnett or. And this is one of the big surprises of camp. He's really
freshman,
really instinctive, this saying. His name is Greg Rubin, and he is a freshman from White Station High School. And no one.
Are we talking
rookie
season TJ Carter level here? Or?
I don't think you'll see him at that level right off the bat, but they
would
think
be a splash because that was some
he could
year.
be that good. And they just say instinctively he is terrific. And you got to understand Barnett was more a safety, and he is crazy athletic and quick, and he's still learning the corner too. So you got two guys that they are really high on, and one of them's going to start, the other will play a bunch. So they're really pretty positive about that position.
Well, as long as I know Mike McIntyre is going to have a great plan for the season, I'm ready to watch it. I know for a fact I'll be able to attend one game. Going to come over to old Jones Boogie on week 2 and see the Tigers play the Red Wolves. So and hopefully I can make it back for a few more games.
Drew, you need to find Tom Bowen in Jonesboro too. I know he'd love to see you because I know y'all were good buds here. I said this to Gabe. I said this to Gabe earlier today, and I'm joking, but with this super junior and super senior status that people enjoy now around college athletics, and I think it's all necessary. Did Dylan Parham get here at the same time as Harry Shue?
Come on.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I mean, at least he was there with Bob Rush.
Gabe played with them for 4 years, right?
Feels like it, doesn't it? He's been around a while, and I think a warhorse. I mean, he's one that's got to have that year.
Yeah, he is. And that offensive line, like Dave said, is going to be real instrumental in the running game. So hopefully there's depth behind it. Like I said, it's been hard to kind of keep up as much as I would like to out here in Razorback country where everything is Arkansas, and Arkansas is everything.
And that's your job now.
Well,
like Donald Sutherland in Animal House. It's my job.
It is.
Dylan Parham, by the way, is the top offensive lineman.
No doubt.
On the team. And you had mentioned, and I forgot to tell you, but the Devontae Dobbs, who was the other Michigan State player who came, that many thought would be the starting left tackle. He is not on the 2 deep. So he got injured in camp, fell behind, and I'm not sure he'll play much this year. They pretty well are settled in on 7 guys.
Drew, you're going to join us a lot of Fridays. I know also on Friday nights you're going to be very busy. You'll be part of the famed Springdale Bulldog broadcast team, and a lot of Saturdays you'll be doing a lot of pre and post for your station. But we're looking forward to a lot of Friday visits with you. We'll get you in on Tiger Picks week to week and Tiger Talk week to week and SEC Talk, and it was absolutely great hearing your voice. I'm glad you're happy. We miss you.
I miss y'all too. Like I said, miss Memphis, miss the 901 and all that great food and everybody back at Sports 56 and in the Memphis area. But you're right, it's an exciting time for me getting to do color analyst for the, as you said, famed Springdale Bulldogs up here in the Northwest Arkansas, and get to see a lot of great 7A high school football with some of the best talent, I think, around the country.
You're not going to believe the press boxes you're going to be going to. The press boxes.
Oh, yeah, I know. I saw the one at Springdale last week.
Wait till you see Bentonville West. It has an elevator.
That's what I was told. I was told to wait till Bentonville.
Well, Drew, my start press boxes
was on top of a press
around
box.
Colorado and in Steamboat Springs. We would literally, and I'm not lying,
up a ladder.
We would climb a telephone pole. So you're going up a long way.
We didn't plan for this.
A lot more class here,
Drew. We didn't plan for this to happen, but you knew we would get a steamboat reference, didn't you?
I got it. You know what really
the bingo card,
made the day, didn't
what
it?
really made me chuckle was he was talking about, well, we get taken to task when we like talking baseball, and I was just thinking, I'll bet you talked a lot about those Orioles in that 19-game losing streak.
That's a shot, Drew. There was no need in that, was it?
Hey, no need. But here's the thing: Phil is a Pirates fan, so our main argument is about which team is worse, and we try to convince the other one that our team and our organization is the worst in not only Major League Baseball but all organized sports, and that the good days are way behind us and never to come. So that's our argument. We try to outsuck the other one.
Good stuff. Hey, the O's and the Pirates played in some great World Series a long time ago.
Yeah, they did.
Drew, take care of yourself, and we'll visit next Friday, I think, okay?
All right, I appreciate it. I'll talk to y'all then.
Thank you, Budsky.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We appreciate it. That is Drew Barrett. He's brought to you in part by Homer. Homer, Skelton, Hyundai, and Olive Branch. You know that's also the home of where the Genesis cars are. And I am happy to say they have Genesises on the premises. G70s, G80s, G90s, they're there. The G70, I've told you this before, the top-performing fast car I've ever had. I put that in sport mode, and I could take turns going 80. I mean, it was fun. They told me when I took the car they were not responsible for any speeding tickets. Don't worry. Yeah, I'm not doing that now, I can tell you. Then I got the G90. Whoa, the smoothest car I ever drove. These luxury cars from Genesis, all the manufacturers will tell you, all the magazines will tell you, the best luxury car on the market for the dollar. No questions asked. That technology is so sophisticated and so safe. Well, you know that. So are the Hyundais, of course. They've been voted the safest car in the world the last 4 or 5 years. And then you've got the team that takes care of you. A group of folks at Homer, Skelton, Hyundai, and Genesis of Olive Branch, put together by Chris True for the most part. Some of them have been around together for 14 or 15 years. They work together well to provide you with everything you could possibly need through the transaction. First the sales, then the finance, then, of course, maintenance. They're going to take care of you. Oh, yeah. They give you a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package on every new automobile. They take care of you. They have set the standard for the way car business should be done. When you get on Lamar into Mississippi, exit 1 Craft Road, you'll see what I'm talking about at Homer, Skelton, Hyundai, and Genesis of Olive Branch. So how many W's? You heard Drew say 10. How many W's for the U of M? Brett, Bryant, and myself will go through every game the Tigers will play. The wins and the losses come your way in a minute.
You have opinions?
What do you hear? What do you say?
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Uncorn flavor, Corky's barbecue.
Corky's is your home for authentic Memphis barbecue. Our dining rooms are open, or stop by our speedy drive-thru. Order your party packs today starting at only $5.99 per person.
CenterPoint Energy takes many steps to help ensure the safety of gas lines in your community and shares important tips like the following. A distinct odor similar to rotten eggs is added to natural gas. If you smell it, clear the area and immediately call CenterPoint Energy. Plus, always remember to call 811 before you dig or begin an outdoor project. Natural gas is one of the safest fuels. To find more tips, visit centerpointenergy.com/gas safety.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off of Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday, baked chicken, Italian Tuesday, spaghetti, ravioli, Italian spinach, delicious fried catfish, fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday, Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $7.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $9.99. And veggie plate, $8.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's. Eddie Smith plays Sundays 5 to 9, Mondays karaoke, Tuesdays Debbie Jameson, Wednesdays Elmo and the Shades, Thursdays John Williams and the A440 Band at Neil's.
Where the fat man rocks.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Waldo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
College football, big time tonight. Several games on several networks. Can't wait. We got a couple of American teams on there. And the debut of the new look Tennessee Volunteers.
Yep. Now,
and they're playing a terrible team, so they should win that one.
Greg Ashton, normally with us at 5 on Thursday. He'll be with us tomorrow. It'll be from the Tiger Sidelines, will be brought to you by South Hall Cafe, Mount Moriah Auto Sales, Mid-South Hobbies, 3A Collisions, and Neil's Bar and Grill. Tomorrow at 5, Greg Gaston with us.
All right, time for us to go through what we think the Tiger football season will look like, how many wins, how many losses, one game at a time, starting 6 o'clock Saturday night at the Liberty Bowl. We're going to start with Brian Dacus. This time we'll see how many
Proud
W's he's still enrolled in that school. We'll see if he keeps that credential.
Sheepskin come May.
After he gives his prognostication here.
I've got him at 8-4. I've got him beating Nichols, beating Arkansas State, losing to Mississippi State, beating UTSA, beating Temple, beating Tulsa, beating Navy, then losing to UCF, losing to SMU, and then beating East Carolina, losing to Houston, and beating Tulane.
We're very similar.
I have 8-4 as well.
I have
a
8-4.
little different. I've got win over Nichols, a win at Arkansas State, a loss to Mississippi State, a win over Texas San Antonio, a win at Temple, a loss at Tulsa, a win over Navy, a loss at UCF, a win over SMU, a win over East Carolina, a loss at Houston, and then a win over Tulane at home because they always beat Tulane in Memphis. And that is 8-4 and 5-3 in the league. If you were listening to all the other prognostications, that would be the third best record in the league behind Cincinnati and UCF. They don't play Cincinnati in the regular season. If they could beat UCF there, then I think they'd make the championship game. But I've got UCF winning at home in that particular matchup. Brett?
Here's my road to 8-4 and 5-3. Win over Nichols. Win at Jonesboro next Saturday night. Loss to Mississippi State. A win over Texas San Antonio, UTSA, and keep an eye on that one this weekend when they play Illinois, because Illinois looked pretty good last week, and we'll see about the Roadrunners of UTSA. But the Tigers beat them. They beat Temple. They win at Tulsa. They defeat Navy. They lose at UCF. They win against SMU, revenge from last year in Highland Park. They defeat East Carolina at the Liberty Bowl, lose at Houston, and that domination over Tulane, it ends. Willie Fritz gets them last game of the year, 8-4, 5-3, and your 8-4 could be right, Dave, and Bryant, your 8-4 could be right. Any votes for 9-3? Where does it break through? What do you have to do? We know if the Tigers beat Mississippi State, you got to start dreaming about 10 like Drew.
That's right. If they beat Mississippi State, that is the litmus test game.
Yep.
And if they were to win that, then now you're talking about playing Cincinnati in the championship game. You're of course that will not count. You still have to probably beat UCF in order to get to that championship game, but it would give you the confidence that if you could beat Mississippi State, you can beat UCF. Anybody. And you beat UCF last year, and I have no idea with Malzahn what kind of team will they be, because they were geared toward Josh Heupel's offense, so that will make it interesting, and we'll get a sense of that with the Boise UCF
Talking season's almost over. We got to play now.
Yep.
Where do you break through, Bryant?
I mean, I'm in full agreement with Dave. I think if you beat Mississippi State, that's going to be a big momentum win. And I think UCF, I mean, you beat them last year. You kind of got over that hump that you seem to couldn't get by.
And a wild one.
Yeah, you could beat them. It will be tough at UCF. And then SMU, I mean, they've had a lot of success in recent history against SMU. Obviously lost last year, and SMU I think is going to be better this year. But I think I don't think it's far off from 9-3 or 10-2.
Very representative league.
I
Very
have
good
them
league.
beaten SMU because that game is at home.
I have them beaten the Ponies as well.
And I thought they should have beaten SMU at SMU last year.
Well,
In
here's
fact,
the
if
easy
they hadn't
breakthrough
fumbled the
to-
ball away, they would have won that game.
Yeah, here's the easy breakthrough to 9-3. I'm right about winning at the Liberty Bowl against SMU, and I'm wrong about losing to Tulane. That easily could happen.
Yeah, I first of all, it's the last game of the year, and Tulane is not the deepest team in the
Tigers
world.
have been good in that spot.
Yeah, I have. Ask Houston; they'll tell you. Memphis is
Put it on
especially
Houston.
at home. Along those lines,
Have we seen Major Applewhite since that day?
No, we have not.
Witness protection program? Well, I mean, what Major? Where are you?
Where did Major
I don't
Applewhite
know.
go? I really do not know. I had a Ole Miss 8-4. You had them 8-4. Did you
8-4.
not?
Mm-hmm.
Where's their 9th win come from?
Auburn.
I have them beating Auburn already. I guess
But
for
that's
me,
mine. Yours
I
would
guess
be-
for me it would be Mississippi State.
Yeah.
In the Egg Bowl, that would easily be the 9th game. I don't think they're going to beat Alabama.
The last 2 years, the home teams won in the Egg Bowl after the visitor kind of having a really unprecedented run. That history had not been that case until it got into the visitor winning.
What if and they're not going to beat Alabama, and that's in Tuscaloosa. But what if they get all this momentum? Because I've got them after losing at Alabama, beating Arkansas, Texas. Now here's LSU. What if they beat LSU at home? And the same thing with A&M. If there was a win out of those two, it's more likely Mississippi State for me in Starkville than to beat LSU or to beat A&M at home. But those are three where if everything went right,
yeah,
then this is an entirely different looking season, and especially you could end up second in the SEC West if that were the case.
A lot has to go right. Tell me when the injury bug bites and the severity of the bite, because you're going to have them. Just, I mean, is it rampant? Is it deep? I mean, because after that, the Ole Miss depth would really would get them, because we know 3 teams start with better total personnel rosters right now than Ole Miss. Alabama in the West, LSU in the West, and A&M in the West. Mm-hmm. We know those rosters are better right now. But what's their injury? What's their attrition? And, and I know on October 23rd when Ole Miss plays LSU, it's going to be a festive day. That is the day of the retirement ceremony of number 10 for Eli Manning. And so there will be a lot of momentum and a lot of fun, but that's not going to win you the game, but it's going to bring a lot of excitement.
What is the scenario if Matt Corral goes down? Because last year
it'd be Kincaid Dent then. It would not be John Rice. It'd be Kincaid Dent.
He's
great high school player.
Too critical as a wide receiver now, is he not?
He's really being counted on there. The depth at wide receiver is not great, but it's pretty good. But no, it would be Kincaid Dent wearing number 12. He'd be in there at quarterback if Matt Corral went down. You know, Matt Corral got in. He played in 2018 when you could play in up to 4 games and still be redshirted. So he's not going to if he has the kind of year everybody's expecting. But he could not only, he could be back next year, and he could be back in 23 if he wanted to. Because of the super senior status.
Yeah, right. Well,
he's not going to.
In talking with Ryan Silverfield today, your rosters, you have so many that you can have over right now because of super athletes, super status, but those are all going to have to come down. You're going to have to start cutting guys. I think he said he was going to have to cut guys next year, at the end of this year. That
tough conversation.
Yeah. Do you realize how different it is for a college football coach over the last year than it was? Let's just go.
That's why it was so phenomenal what Ryan Silverfield accomplished last year, and Lane Kiffin.
And what Ryan Silverfield said.
And to a degree, Sam Pittman.
Agreed. Ryan Silverfield, first-year head coach, really. I mean, coached one game. He said the easiest part of his job was the first 3 months. He did the Cotton Bowl, and it was,
and then a pandemic hits,
and then the pandemic hit, and everything absolutely
NIL
changed.
hits,
and
free
transfer portal.
hits.
Transfer portal was not prominent until after the Cotton Bowl.
And this has been hard for veteran coaches to get a handle on.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, and in basketball, I think guys, Mike Krzyzewski,
chewed him up a little bit, didn't it?
Well, I think that's why they're retiring.
Roy
early.
Williams.
I think Roy Williams and
Had enough.
Mike Krzyzewski both
This isn't
said
fun anymore.
This whole animal is changing. I'm not sure I want to be a part of that change. It's sort of counter to my philosophy, and I don't want to have to chase down sponsors for NILs, and
also,
I don't
Dave,
want to have to check the transfer portal like it's a waiver wire. I think it's really different.
You're recruiting your roster all the time,
Yeah.
and also the player liberation, both on and off the field. I think a lot of these veteran coaches have really had a tough time with. I know this.
Hey, I just on that thought before you go into whatever you're doing here, I think seriously that we've seen a lot of indecision in depth charts where they go or. I think a lot of that
who'll hang around
is we're not going to make a decision or tell you, even though we have, we're not making that decision because we don't want you transferring.
Oh, I know it's the case, and you have to have a lot of trust in those players, and those players have to have a lot of trust in the coaches. I trust All-Star Chevrolet and the All-Star Edition Silverado trucks. There are a lot of them on the lot at All-Star Chevrolet off Kraft Goodman Road. So many certified pre-owned Chevys. If it's a Chevy you want this fall, start your football season the right way. Start it with that Chevy. Olive Branch is where you want to kick off. If you have a car or truck to sell, All-Star will buy it. Even if you owe on it or bring the title, they'll write you a check today. It's that simple. Remember, it's not Collierville, it's not Mount Moriah, it's not South Haven, it's not the Pike. It's got to be Olive Branch. It's got to be where Drew and Scott and the great team that you've come to know and trust at All-Star Chevrolet, that's where they are. So easy to find. New roads to All-Star Chevrolet or go to allstarautogroup.com.
And if you want to look sharp, drive that car over to my friends at James Davis. Was in there today, picked up some new digs for the wedding, and
what size waist?
It's about the same size it was last year. Not as good as yours.
Yeah.
Certainly not as good as when I first got to the marketplace, but I've actually had it
that
bigger.
Happens?
I've had it bigger.
They sell them all different sizes.
Let me just
don't
say
they?
this. It doesn't matter with the stance system because they're going to look good and feel good. If my waist's a little bit bigger than it should be and my tushy's not quite as big and I want it to fit in the thighs or in the back of the thighs by the hammies, the seat area there, that's what the stance system is all about. 3 measurements. It's perfect in pants. It's 2 It's 2 measurements in pants. It's 3 measurements in shirts, and you get the perfect custom fit shirt. Now, it used to be it took a week. Now it takes about 2.5 weeks because, folks, the stance system is so good, America has caught on. The only place you can get the stance system, well, that would be James Davis Men's Store. Go see Rob Joyner. He always greets you with a smile. They take care of you. The same people have been around that store forever, serving their customers, making them look good for whatever the fashions may be. And right now, the fall fashions are coming in. The clearance sale and the summer stuff kind of winding down. You can still find some bargains. All you got to do is get to Laurelwood, the only place with the stance system, the only place with the great guys that have been around forever. That's the James Davis Men's Store, the men's store in all of Memphis. You'll find it in the Laurelwood Shopping Center. When we come back, I'm going to tell you about a brand new advertiser that is on board our family here at the Flynn Broadcasting Center, and then we're going to give you Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Zane comes your way every weekday morning from 7 till 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey everybody, it's Rick Earwood, and in my day I've bought several homes, and nothing can be more overwhelming and time-consuming than trying to secure financing. Let me steer you in the direction of Tommy Cotham at Bartlett Mortgage. a guy that's been originating loans for 25 years in the greater Memphis area. Tommy does all products, conventional, FHA, USDA, VA. Maybe you're wanting to stay in your home now and just refinance. He can do that as well. So hey, go ahead, give Tommy a call at 901-335-7308. Get your pre-approval so you'll know what you can spend, find your home, and then pack your boxes and get ready to move. It's that easy with Tommy Cotham at Bartlett Mortgage. Call him today at 901-335-7308. Once again, that number, 901-335-7308. Tell him Rick told you to call.
Whether you're driving for distance, pitching for precision, or putting to win it all, come to Edwin Watts Golf Shop to get custom fit for all your clubs throughout your bag. Hit a few balls and let our team show you the latest swing technology and data that will help optimize your game. Having each club tailored to become your gamers will help you start shooting lower scores. Let Edwin Watts Golf Shops help you make every shot the perfect one. Come in and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Taco Bell presents a get-out-of-bedtime story. It's time to wake up from this amazing dream, even though you're jet skiing on lemonade. How extreme! And oh, look at that, you just won the lottery. Is that a castle? Take the keys, it's your property. What's better than swimming in space? Just wait for the big reveal. It's Taco Bell breakfast and it's actually real. So it's time to wake up and bid your dreams farewell. Cause toasted breakfast burritos are waiting for you, only at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell locations near you during breakfast hours only.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Waldo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Come on, Muhammad, did we hit fame? We beat you with the deal, we get insane.
Final portion of our program, and it's brought to you by a brand new sponsor we are so happy to have on board. It's the Old Dominick Distillery, the proud hometown partner of the Tigers. It's located right in the heart of downtown. I'm sure many of you have been there. Old Dominick will offer full distillery tours, curated tastings, craft cocktails. It is outstanding. You can go to olddominick.com and follow Old Dominick on Facebook and Instagram. You get the latest news, releases, and get this, cocktail recipes. Those are fun. Every night you can go try a different one and see which one you like the best. Make sure you're using Old Dominick. Ask your favorite Memphis Spirit Shop where you can find all the Old Dominick products for the big game. And while you're there, look for the limited edition. It's a bottle of Hewlig Station Straight Bourbon Whiskey sporting the Memphis Tigers team colors. Share a sip of pure Memphis this season and tip one for the Tigers. Old Dominick encourages all football fans to share a sip responsibly. We welcome into the fold our friends at Old Dominick Distillery. It is all of a sudden Taco Bell crunch time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is Geraldo. It is crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins. It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Looking for something new at Taco Bell? Try the original tacos meets the instant classic, nacho fries. There's bound to be some magic. Nacho fries are essentially building blocks for culinary imagination. Slightly seasoned. Nah, go with bold spices. Warm nacho cheese and sour cream. Loaded taco fries are covered with seasoned beef, nacho cheese sauce, ranch, tomato, and shredded cheese. In short, the legend of nacho fries lives on.
Learned today, Dave, that Tennessee starts tonight their 125th season of football. It's in about an hour. Tennessee, if they win, it'll be win number 850 all time.
Wow.
They will become the 10th FBS program to win 850. The 850 club includes Michigan, Ohio State, Bama, Texas, Notre Dame, OU, Nebraska, Penn State, and USC. And this is also, tonight starts the 100th year of Neyland Stadium at Shields-Watkins Field.
John Ward, thank you. How many years?
125 for the program,
Man,
100 for Neyland.
100 for Neyland. I will say to you, I would have to think, I haven't been in Neyland in a couple of years. I would have to think, though, that of all those old stadiums that have been totally redone, Neyland's got to be up there amongst the top ones, don't they?
Got to be.
I mean,
they've spent fortunes on it.
Oh, my gosh. Just the brick alone when they were redoing the brick on the exterior. Oh, my gosh. But it is a great experience. There is no doubt about that. I learned a little while ago, NBA scouts are going to get an early look at the U of M basketball team as early, by the way, as next month.
Really
Coach
smart.
Hardaway and the Tigers will host a pro day for the NBA scouts on October the 7th. That comes from ESPN Drafts analyst Jonathan Giovanni. He's done this before. He had a pro day in 2019 when he had Wiseman and Achua. Now they got Bates and Duran and Timberlake and, I think DeAndre Williams. And somebody ought to take a look at the heart and soul Lester Quinones and Landers Nolly who can score. Also, apparently, and this is probably for the rebounders and some of the other super fans, Memphis will have an open house, an open practice the following day. So the scouts will be there on the 7th. The open practice is scheduled for the 8th. I bet both will be extremely well attended.
Guarantee it. Could have done without. John Smoltz now barred from MLB Network studios for not getting vaxxed. Will he be barred from stadiums in October or from the Fox broadcasters come World Series time? I think John Smoltz with Joe Buck is just magic.
I agree.
Missing Al Leiter is one thing. No John Smoltz with Joe Buck come October would be really bad.
Well, Smoltz and Leiter will still be working those games, but they are going to work in their homes. So that's studio stuff they can do remotely from their homes. You're right. Now, what will Smoltz do? It's all because he doesn't want to take the vaccine. The same thing, Nats Vice President Bob Boone has resigned because the Washington creed is you've got to be COVID vaccinated.
Vax or there's the door.
And he said, I'm not going to do it. So he quit. His son, is the
skipper of the
Yankees era, and he got vaccinated back in March. I wish father would be more like son. I guess I could have done without, they spent all this money on roofing 2 stadiums in New York City. They call it Arthur Ashe Stadium. That's got like almost 27,000 fans.
Nothing could hold back that last night.
And then there is Louis Armstrong Stadium.
That was biblical.
And the rains came through. It leaked through the roof.
Did you see the subways?
I did.
Looked like Niagara Falls.
You know what? That is the back end, much diminished Hurricane Ida. Can you imagine what that was like?
It's over Maine right now.
I know it. It's crazy.
It won't let up.
And it absolutely interfered with the United States Tennis Open yesterday.
I'm glad the U.S. Open it's the beginning of the long climb back. And
they had 53,000 people there yesterday. That it all got disrupted because of Ida.
And next week, 20th anniversary of 9/11 will be very emotional
moving
in New York.
It will.
Keep a close eye tonight on a lot of games. USF at NC State in the American, ECU at App State in the American, and Cal Davis at Tulsa in the AAC.
Well, don't forget South Florida, NC State.
And I mentioned that.
You did?
And the big one, UCF in Boise with Gus in his inaugural game at UCF. How will Tennessee replace its best offensive player in Eric Gray, who's at OU, and its best defensive player, Henry To'oTo'o, who's now at Bama? How many quarterbacks will play for Tennessee tonight? And in the Big Ten, P.J. Fleck and the Gophers.
Can't wait for that.
Against Ohio State.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch a lot of that. I watched all football last night. I'm going to watch all football tonight. Enjoyed UAB tonight, but we can get the remote control humming tonight.
How good was UAB, do you really think?
Just very solid. I think solid, that's it. Nothing real special, but solid. A lot of room for improvement.
Ohio State, Minnesota, you mentioned Fleck and what a good job he's done there. I want to see just how good Ohio State really is going to be, and I think Minnesota will be a good test.
That Ohio State roster
that'll get us
is good.
a sense. Oh, yeah. There's no.
And that coach, Ryan Day, stepped into a good situation, but at least he kept it on the road.
He did. I take it you're not going to watch any baseball at all?
Very little.
Well, they're really, I think it's the A's Tigers, right? And that game may be over. Braves Rockies, that's the only thing that's going, right? It's
not much grabbing me tonight.
Look, nobody wanted to go up against this Thursday night beginning.
Next
of
Thursday
football.
night's the NFL.
I know it. So we'll get our first look at so many of these teams. I cannot wait.
Have a great wedding weekend. That's a special time. You get a lot of pictures. Sadly, it's the last time, somebody might be in a picture. Enjoy every second of it. At
the age that we have approached, that is unfortunately rather accurate.
But enjoy this weekend.
And this is a special wedding. And I got to tell you, my wife has really been amazing because this thing has been twice delayed, and she's gone through a lot of stress with COVID, and COVID has been an issue in this one.
It's been something.
She really has been outstanding.
All the best and all the love to you and yours.
We really appreciate it. We appreciate Bill Bender for being on with us today, Keith Smith for being on with us today, Drew Barrett for filling in with Tiger Talk. Greg Gaston will be here. Usually he would have been here today. He will be here on Friday, tomorrow. You'll get the picks. I've given you my picks. If folks, if you were really going to be paying attention, just listen to what I say on our Friday football forecast. Seriously, thank you guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see you again next week. Enjoy the football.
The 34th Annual Memphis Chevy Show, presented by T-Mobile, makes its return to the Memphis International Raceway September 10th and 11th. The premier destination for all things Chevrolet features multiple classes of drag racing, an automotive swap meet, jet dragsters, and more. Get your vehicle registered and enter it in a professionally judged car show, or just put it on display. You can also just sit back and enjoy the show. Tickets are now on sale online at just $20 for Friday and $25 for Saturday. Don't miss out on the largest car show in the Mid-South. Go to racemir.com for more information.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
Come on, one more rep. You got this. 10. There it is. Nice work, man. You're a beast.
Thanks, man. I feel better than I have in years. And I got to tell you, taking Nugenix makes a huge difference for me.
Nugenix? That's the testosterone booster with TV ads with Frank Thomas. The Big Hurt, right?
Oh, yeah. This is a legit product. The key ingredient is Testofen, which helps boost free testosterone levels and increase lean muscle mass.
Well, it's clearly working for you. Hey, are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try for themselves?
Yeah, Nugenix is a great way to increase lean muscle and feel stronger with more energy and endurance.
Man, I need to get a complimentary bottle of Nugenix.
No problem. You just got to send them a text. Text TAP to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Nugenix samples are not available in stores, so text TAP to 321-321 right now. Text TAP to 321-321. That's TAP to 321-321.
Taqueria Express has a new location at 6290 Winchester with family deals every day. Mouth-watering chicken tacos only 99 cents. 3 tacos with rice, beans, and fresh guacamole, only $6. And incredible signature dishes with chicken or beef chimichangas and homemade tortillas stuffed with fresh beans, rice, and cheese on top. If you're hungry, try Taqueria Express's gigantic Macho Burrito, homemade with fresh flour tortilla, and you choose beef, chicken, pork, or shrimp. Includes beans, rice, melted cheese, lettuce, tomato, and sour cream. Fajita fans try Taqueria's delicious chicken or steak fajitas, big enough for 2 people and only $10. If you're thirsty and want something unique, then try Taqueria drinks made from scratch, like melon and pineapple. Margaritas are buy one, get one free, and they got a little kick to them. For real Mexican food, Taqueria Express, 6290 Winchester. We'll see you guys there, and don't forget those strong margaritas. Buy one, get one free.
CenterPoint Energy takes many steps to help ensure the safety of gas lines in your community and shares important tips like the following. A distinct odor similar to rotten eggs is added to natural gas. If you smell it, clear the area and immediately call CenterPoint Energy. Plus, always remember to call 811 before you dig or begin an outdoor project. Natural gas is one of the safest fuels. To find more tips, visit centerpointenergy.com/gas safety.
We are Sports 56